What's up, everybody? It's Francisco here with Charles for Sports Goofs 201. There we go. So SG 201, and just me and him. I don't know if Andrew's gonna show up. He's got his new lifestyle now. Just busy. But we got me and you, Charles, and we haven't talked in a bit. So, and this is completely at random. A bunch of stuff that we can
Whole
kind of go
bunch of
over.
stuff.
Yeah. Also, we're on Discord now, so the audio quality is going to be a bit different. I got to test this and play around with it compared to Facebook, because Facebook is kind of crapped out on us right now. So it might be a different. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see how it turns out at the end when I edit this. But man, I'm exhausted. I worked out today. I did deadlifts today.
My
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. So I have good form. I'll tell you that much. Very
There
good
you
form.
go.
So, yeah, deadlifts. I did shoulder press with two dumbbells, and yeah, my right shoulder is killing me right now.
Same.
Like absolutely.
Same.
Yeah. Then
I did.
Yeah.
I was. What time did you do it?
I worked out at 7:15 this morning.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. I was there at 5:45. I felt bad because you guys are never part of the chats. So these boys, when I woke up at 4:45, were bombarded at 5:15 with Twitter feeds on the Yankees. Follow us on the Twitter, Charles and True, Damn Frijoles, FJOJR, Sports_Goofs. Let's Historian, which is kind of coming to the end of its road for the season. Panthers Historian, which is going to blossom beautifully.
I want to see the cup because they're gonna have it at the team store, at the practice facility, and they didn't say when. They just said that you can sign up and we'll let you know when it's gonna be there. And it might be my only shot, especially if it's on a weekend, to see the damn thing up close and take a photo with it.
You gotta do it, man.
Yeah,
You gotta.
yeah. I'm hoping it's not. I hope it's not next weekend because I'll be in North Carolina. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. The wedding.
I actually, no, the wedding's next month, but the
bachelor party.
Yeah, bachelor weekend is next week, and I actually have to pack for that. Now that I'm saying that, I haven't packed for it at all. Asheville, North Carolina. Have you been there? Have you been to Asheville?
Yeah, I've hit touch points of it. I mean, this is how I always view North Carolina. It's just the same. I don't think there's anything like substantially different. And I've been to North and South Carolina. I always equate it to like Florida without the humidity, which is fine. Kind of greener. I can understand why people like it. I don't hate it. Didn't like South Carolina, but obviously that's because I was stuck waiting for 2 hours for an Uber because I misjudged a theory of that everything was mobilized. So next time if I hit there, I'm basically gonna drive or rent a car.
Okay. And I gotta also buy my ticket and hotels for the wedding next month. So I better start doing that.
That's yeah.
I gotta do that like tomorrow or today, depending. So, we just got paid this week, so I might as well gouge myself with those. And shit, man, I've been going like crazy to the bathroom, man. I've been drinking a ton of water, like the last, like it happens every workout.
I want everybody to know I did not plan that portion of the show, so I'm finding out that my buddy's bladder is flowing well. Tell me about your workout bladder interaction.
No, I just drink a ton of water. I mean, I lose so much water because it's like in the morning, it's humid. We just like I just work out of the garage, out of his garage. So, like today, it was the deadlifts, the shoulder presses, the shoulder shrugs, some like lifting off the ankles, that type of thing.
Oh, calf races.
Yeah, calf races. There we go. And,
this man gave you a whole body workout.
Yeah. That's why I'm sore. And then holding the ball straight out, and then just kind of turning left and right.
Yep. Good core.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it in my backside. I'm not as flexible on that side, so I guess trying to build up my flexibility for sure. Because I've been really tight. Really tight. Muscles are really tight, Charles. So I'm just trying to get some flexibility so I can keep working out more, much further than that. Let's see. And then leg raises as well with the the weights and everything like that. So, and then 2 mile or not 2 miles, but two like what is that? It's a quarter, like a half mile or a jog, like just straight
Okay.
up. Yeah.
And I will always tell you, not that I'm mean and lean and a good fighting machine, but I've noticed because I went on a kind of like, oh crap, I'm gonna be 35 kind of thing, and I upped that cardio
Be
to do like
37 in
4.
days.
Right there you go. Happy early birthday. But
Yeah.
going 4 to 5 miles after lifting, followed by you know, lifting and then going and my workouts. Poor Francisco and Andrew. Like if they want to be lazy and they just want to eat slop all day and lay in bed, and then there's my ass one sending them like my little iWatch or Apple
Yeah.
Watch workout statistics, and they just see some craziness comes in. But I was doing that, and I was doing like the elliptical on leg days, and I never did the elliptical on leg days. What I ended up doing was just like the bike, like the little bike to get my knees, my ACL nice and tight, but like it was a different kind of structure. So we trimmed up a little bit. And that's what you're going to find out, that you're going to pee a lot. That was me this morning because I
Yeah.
woke up and I was up and going at 5:40. And, like usually a normal human being wakes up and they go to the bathroom, they do whatever. Me, it's like, all right, I'm gonna wake up, do my morning, like first pee, right? But we're not pooing anytime soon. Not that if anybody at work listens, sorry, I apologize that you're hearing about my bowel movements. But especially since they're trying to have me with responsibility. More on that later. But I'm like, all right, because I do that. But you know what happens is you go first, and then I load up on like a pre-workout. But I don't go too heavy because I'm high on it because I'm gonna need caffeine later, and I did. BCAAs and then a protein shake because I upped my protein to where it's a protein shake with my workout, pre-workout, post-workout, another one before the day and before bed. So when I got home at like 7, I felt like, not to get too personal, but you ever have to pee and your nips are just diamonds because your whole body's sensory position is just like going, I can't be the only one.
The exact sensation. I think I got it. Yeah.
And it's the worst, man. It is literally, legitimately the worst. I'm like, oh man, I'm dying. I'm dying. Um, Going from there. So that was just me kind of going through it. And I squatted 225.
Okay.
I leg extended 150, new record. I calf raised with the barbell at 225, and then I leg pressed at like 360. And I was like, all right, we're all good. I did my and I wasn't gonna go far because I'm still recovering from the sinus infection, so I don't want everything to drip down. But but I'm like, all right. And so when I get home after I shower, I tell you I'll get this stuff, guys, because there's a purpose. Then after I'm fully dressed, and I was getting my car service today, so I got to be even shorts until I had to go get my car. My knees effing buckled, man. So sometimes you can try and you can do everything right, and then your body's gonna have a natural whatever. And the beautiful thing about the mind is it's a stubborn creation where it can ignore things around it. It's how we survive in this world. You have a bad day, you suppress it. You think about something good. You do this XYZ, or you just kind of like compartmentalize, and then your body gives you a terrible physical reaction. And I was like, my knee. I got a history of knee injuries, never tore, only pulled. But and for you, who you're in a different regime now, because now you're skating, now you have your own private guy that's coming in around the community. Your body is going to need like 2 months really to adjust to this schedule of doing it straight at 7 in the morning. I envy you. I'm just a very mobile man, so I can't.
Saturday,
And I can't go around it. But then importantly is that if you're really hitting some real stuff, not the like, I'm Francisco, I'm here at the gym, let me hit this machine. You got someone telling you what to do, how to do it, and go from there. And then the great thing about personal trainers is they can be supportive. You know what the terrible thing about personal trainers are? When they start adding plates to the barbell, or adding more weights to the dumbbell, or telling you to do some like shorter rests and go from there, because you're only going to intensify, and then you're going to throw up. So be ready. I don't have to do a personal trainer. I should, because whereas your form's good, my form's okay until I start thinking that I'm Mr. Man, and then I hurt myself. You've seen that video of me doing 365. I did it. Ass in my sphincter
is gone. Yeah.
It felt great though, and I know what you're saying, Charles. Is it a Napoleon complex? You're damn right it's a Napoleon complex. I want to be like this 5'7" on a good day man who could just like come mess through because throw some. You know who is my idol? Wolverine and Scrappy Doo. What do they have in common? Tiny boys with big buff muscles, and you can be that too.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
But
see.
how's the dieting? Because all this
Mm.
means nothing. And yeah, like me, yeah, I drink. But I balance this stuff out because if I'm drinking on a day, I don't eat like sugary sweets like crazy or high fats. But what is your diet? Because you don't partake in the liquid goodness as much as I do. Who the hell is this person? Sorry, I'm into playing Cyberpunk, guys, and then
Mm.
I'm like almost 60 hours in the game. There's like, oh, there's a new person. I'm like, who is this? What new person? There's always something covering. We'll find out. But the point is that you like your repas. You like that,
I
like
just had some for dinner right
disgusting.
now.
I just knew it. I
Yeah.
just knew it. I'm there. I'm in your house. You
I
just
got home cooking now again, man. It's been bad.
yeah.
Diet's been. I'm trying at the very least. But it's hard. But at least I'm being active at the very least. I just feel that.
It's a counterbalance. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like at work because I'm still like, I mean, I don't have a paralegal or anything like that, so I'm basically doing a lot of things not on my own. I'm supervising attorneys and stuff like that, just to look over stuff with me. But just I'm taking a lot of time. So that's why I'm leaving work late also. But you knew my old schedule, so that really doesn't phase me at all.
You're
Um,
conditioned.
yeah. So it doesn't really matter to me, and I'm like what 15 minutes away from my house.
It's like going from the prison, making a license plate that goes to the coal mine. Nothing different, man.
Yeah. So, but I haven't really had unless they feed me, which is the other thing. They feed me at this place.
Mm.
Like I'll get at least.
I've heard these stories, guys.
Yeah. I mean, we had Burger Fi yesterday.
Oh, I think I've had that once. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had it once. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not Shake Shack. If there was
had
a Shake Shack near where I lived, buddy, I'm just done. I love Shake Shack.
I had a chicken.
Cherry peppers.
I had a chicken sandwich from Burger Fi. It was National Cheeseburger Day, so we have like at least 2 or 3 days a month. One of those national whatever days. For food or drinks and stuff like that. And we'll order something from there. That'll be something that has that, and then we'll have it. So we had pizza and wine day. The other like a few weeks back now. So that was an interesting one. And then we had cheeseburger day. We had milkshake day as well.
It's so weird. I've never wanted to ever have like alcohol with my pizza, like as a startup. Like sometimes when I feel that like sway comes in, I'm like, all right. We went to a wine bar. I think I said Little Haiti, and I was like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Like that was a new interesting experience. But pizza and wine, I'm like, I don't think I want to.
It was one of those
the
artisanal,
the
artisanal pizzas. One of those.
Neapolitano, which
Yeah.
they don't want to say it's Neapolitan because you think of ice cream. And I'm like, all right, man.
So we had that. Tomorrow's my birthday celebration, so I don't know what they're gonna get for me, for food wise.
That's good though.
Yeah, I mean it's different from from having no celebrations whatsoever, and
I mean, you had the karaoke thing. I'll defend the prior employer on that one, right? Wasn't it you in LA?
Oh, that was in LA last year, but it was for the 5th anniversary. It just happened to be my birthday around that time. So no, I mean,
so they piggybacked you.
Yeah, but it was still nice. They got me a cake and stuff like that. So it was, I'm not, but like before that, it was just, it was, we go to like a little with people in my office, just 2 other people there, and just get myself like a lunch. But this is different. This is where they're legitimately feeding me. They're asking me to bring my Switch in, and
your real team
to do some Jackbox stuff. I actually might bring that tomorrow. So I got to remember.
Oh no, you could just get Overcooked and then like hate your life.
I have that.
Yeah.
I have it on my PC.
I don't think I hate it, but the thing is, like all strategy games, you have to fail like the first 2, 2
Mm-hmm.
hours and then really like figure it out. And actually, that'll be a question we'll bring up a little bit later in the show because it's a sports show for as long as we want it to be a sports show, guys. We're
Yeah.
really transitioning to a
I've,
variety hour.
I've got NFL highlights in the background, but I'm not really paying
Yeah,
attention to them.
sports is a part of life. It's communal, but like there's other things communal, like pizza and wine and
Mm.
birthdays and celebrations. But no, that's cool. And let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask this question because it's a variety show, so I can kind of do what I want, how I want
Mm-hmm.
on my segments. And one of the we're grandstanding members, we're founding fathers. So I don't know if I'm James Madison up in this bitch too, but you know why? I know I'm the Hancock. I did nothing to make this, but I just wrote my signature as big as to be remembered. It really is what happened. If you guys don't recall,
Yeah.
I just showed up. I just showed up. That's what happened. I just
Yeah.
showed up. So are you a person? And I never get this, but I think it's because even though I'm sarcastic and all this other stuff, but I'm a very like celebratory person as well. You know me, Charlo will come out anytime if he wants to. Are
Mm.
you a person who cringes if someone's like going on like it's the happy birthday stuff at a restaurant or anything?
Nah, not really. I don't mind.
I love it. I'll clap along for some little kid or some old man celebrating 90 because life is a precious thing. Not to get hokey, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I used to
you
do
know.
when I was working at a Roadhouse Grill, uh,
Oh my
back in
goodness.
back in high school. I had to do the birthday announcement on the mic.
And you're a very charismatic man.
Not no
Very,
no not back then. Back then I was like
you don't have a
I was a
velvety
very
voice.
very weird it's like on the border of incel type of like there's an alternate reality where
That's my incel
yeah,
voice,
there's an alternate reality where I didn't lose the weight and didn't care about school, and then I just turned into an incel, and didn't get laid. So yeah. There's an alternate reality where that happened, but the Panthers won the cup in this one, so I'm okay.
we would have been perfect anyway as you being an incel, me being a big beefy boy, because it just would have been Nintendo. I don't think people. I miss that body type too.
No,
Absolutely.
and San Francisco does not go to law school.
Yeah. I mean, BB Charles just stays at Vitamin Shop until he tries to be a manager, and they'll just fire me because that's what corporations do. I'm sick of them saying that they care about the people. No, they want to cut back your salaries because they're not multi-billion-dollar corporations.
Oh, speaking
They
of
just like over there.
Vitamin Shop, so my
Yes,
my
let's do
my
this.
my
I
trainer.
did retain a lot, and like that's the one thing I appreciate about old jobs. As another side note, as Francisco and I celebrate 7 and 8 years being
You
professionals
know how
as
much we
attorneys,
had importance for that. You brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't know because I was looking. Because the reason why I know is like it's one of my friends' birthday, and that's how like it registered to me. And the thing is, and it's so weird because I wish Andrew was on this for the commentary because we know our boy suffered, but Francisco and I are very much like, we're not gonna be lawyers forever. And I always make a joke in the group chat where like, remember when I was just a lawyer? Because the thing is that my job, gracefully, and I love my job, or I love the organization I work for. That's how I'll start this. Has me doing stuff that I never. I've done CLEs. I'm hosting. I'm
Yeah.
emceeing a gala. I bought new attire and all that stuff. Point being is that this is all like found out today, and we're doing like reflections of where we were, and I was just literally having conversations about prior jobs and what I referred from them. But yeah, in San Francisco and Big Beefy Boy Charles, who knows? But anything is possible, right? I mean, as long as we don't Puff Daddy Meek Mill this, we're okay. Yeah, I went there. Fuck
Yeah.
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Your music sucks anyway. I mean, solo wise, you have Last Night with Keisha Cole. It's really because she kills it. Shake Your Tail Feather's not even a thing. Nelly puts that
Yeah.
up. It's not like with R. Kelly where I'm like, I'm conflicted for reasons because
True.
the man made I Believe I Can Fly,
Yeah.
and as he was getting hauled off, I was singing that comically and then trapped in a closet. But I literally could not give a fucking fuck 5 about Puff Daddy because you know what? The guy was being investigated when he was dating J-Lo in 2000 about killing a man. We're almost certain he killed Biggie, and now
Yeah.
my theory is that he was just trying to get a handy to Biggie, and he's like, Biggie's like, nah, I don't want that, and he shot that man. So not for me because I'm a Tupac guy, but for my paralegal who loves Biggie, and we always had like the wars it. That's why. So that's my little rap. But continue. I really went on that tangent, but it's our show, guys. We do what we want now.
No, it was just he was just giving me advice as far as like trying to cut weight and stuff like that, a post workout with colon cleanser or something like that.
Oh no, you don't want that, man.
Okay,
You don't want
all
because
right.
all it is, like the healthy cleanse, sculpting cleanse, it's just
Yeah.
Senna or it's like smooth move, you could probably shit 6 very well, and if anything, just drink a
I'm
gallon of milk.
yeah, okay, yeah, so never mind. Because I'm fairly regular with my movements there, so
That's like me if I did that's like if you did water pills and just like
okay.
expel and just flush it
How
out.
much water I just drink just as a normal thing that I just do? I just drink a
So
ton of water.
if I might, and I'm gonna put this on y'all for
Mm.
everybody, I've started taking collagen, like bovine, fish, poultry collagen, like a powder. There's like one I'll do, and I might do like a non-sponsor of it. Oh, Andrew goes, son of a bitch, I forgot again. Guys, I'm telling you right now on the show, he goes to me, he's fucking lying. He's lying. I'm not counting his
He
statement.
asked today.
He asked today. He asked yesterday.
Oh, he's
He
got.
had a segue. Like how does he say I need to put on a calendar? It's been Thursdays, so I'm calling it right now because if there's anybody who wants to do group interaction, follow us on the Twitter, follow us on the Discord, do whatever you gotta do. He is straight up just trying to be like, I took a nap. That's really what happened. Took a nap, which I get because remember he's in his first like 2 months of being a lawyer, and I think that's what
Yeah.
we all did. We woke up super early, we read our stuff, we read our like law school supplemental A's on how to do trials, and then how to do evidence, and then whatever, and then you come home and you're super tired and you knock out for 2 hours. I guarantee you won't probably admit it. I guarantee you that's what happened. So
Yeah.
anyway, back to the collagen. I think it's sculpted my body a bit. It helped because the thing is, I have bursitis in my right shoulder. I was going to the PT for it, and it eased up. And I went off of it for like a week when I had the sinus infection. Because when I'm sick or anything, I just stopped doing all my shit. But it's helped out. My skin's always been good. Moisturizer, guys,
Yeah.
moisturizer. I'll have wrinkles, and that's what happened because I'm very emotive, so I frown a lot. But in Florida, you need moisturizer, and I think it's helped grow back some hair. And I'm not bald by any means. Like, ladies, understand, your boy ain't bald, right? We got a mane going on, fellas. I got a mane going on at 35, but it's kind of healthy, and I think that scoped me out a little bit. So you don't really need like the supplements like in between. I mean, I might suggest a little calcium because what people don't know, the calcium, not just for your bones, your teeth are made of calcium. And, with 30, 40 years of damage to it, it degrades for what you eat. So maybe that preserves it. But no. I mean, if you want to do recovery, try glutamine and BCAA combos. Protein shakes are fine, but sometimes I don't even know if protein shakes work, but I'm just scared if it doesn't because your boy is getting some strength. Francisco has seen my videos because I throw it at him because I need my vanity to be obviously, validated by people I'm very close to in life because it doesn't matter if it's a stranger. I need this man who knew me, who know me for like 9 years, essentially 10, to go from there. Andrew goes, y'all gonna be on in an hour. Brother, yeah, I'll just tell him yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
more
mean,
than less.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the
And you know what?
this
This is the weird thing about the variety show because you can have the Charles and Francisco variety show, Francisco
I
Charles.
mean, I have a
variety
list of
show,
ideas of things to talk about, so.
and then it becomes the Andrew show. So the point being, because let's not belabor the point, you're doing good. You can take those things I talked about: BCAA, collagen, protein. Multi minerals are good too. Why? Because you sweat stuff out, and people will like drink a Gatorade.
Yeah,
why drink sugar?
I usually buy multivites, so I need to, the gummy stuff. So
yeah, the gummies are not efficient. Gummies are not efficient. I mean, like, so I guess I'll steal on this. One of my favorite, I think it was my favorite job was working at Vitamin Shop. I worked there for almost 3 years. I was assistant manager, raised up to assistant manager through time, and I was never like health conscious, and I really just ate whatever I want to eat. And because when you're skinny and handsome, life goes on. But then when you get into relationships, and my ex Emily and I, when you're poor, all you can do is fast food. So date nights was like Chili's if I'm lucky, and then like whatever fast food, and then like I hit up Checkers with their beautiful double chicken buffalo sandwich. I always talked about it. I enamored. It's my favorite.
Yeah, the one that they took, or Checkers, the one
they took away from me.
Yeah, exactly.
They took away from me.
Yeah, we're
Fuckers.
gonna make a franchise. We're gonna buy a franchise and bring it back.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it back. It's gonna happen, guys. I promise you. And when the name comes back, because I haven't thought about it.
I mean, if Taco Bell is bringing back some of their old stuff, you would think others would hop on board.
The Frank's Red Hot. That's what it was. The double Frank's Red Hot chicken sandwich, and I would have 2 of them. So I've had 4 patties dunked in an exorbitant amount of Frank's Red Hot. I need that. I am Spanish, guys. You might not like it. You might hate it. Every Spanish woman in my life that I've dated, like, tú eres un gringo. I'm like, yeah, baby, but you know what? This runs deep. This runs deep right here, because Francisco has seen me like kind of like semi orgasm on just seeing like Spanish foods, tamales,
Yeah.
arepas, corridas, stuff like that. It is there.
I mean, we have our
Point being,
Mexican meat god in Nashville, Tennessee. So
oh my God, right? And we got to follow the chef reactions. I don't know if you had a chance to look into it, but he's funny. Follow him on Twitter too. But I got a lot of knowledge. I
I
met a
mean, we
lot of
can do that. I
people.
mean, Discord is actually easier for us to like share stuff. So I
Yeah,
might. I mean, we might just transition to this. I mean, I
so
don't
for
mind.
like BU and then I forgot the other guy's name. Sorry, Frank, I think. Like the two guys who are always loyal
Freddie
to us
Airmail.
for a long. Freddie Airmail.
Mhm.
Love him. Freddie's rankings, man. It's coming. It should already be done. Freddie, we love you. How could I forget? I'm so sorry. I apologize. It's just been a long time since we've seen them. But the point of it is just like, we're switching it. The show's not canceled. We took a 4 month hiatus because it's fine. It's okay to do that. We're not
Life.
doing yeah, life, but we're not doing Netflix, which like Stranger Things is only on 5 seasons, but it's been 11 years. That's not us. And we get a little better. I think I speak better now that we had the break. I'm more focused. You are definitely like more broadened up past your cynicism since the Panthers won. Because
Yeah.
guys, it was just dark time. And with Andrew, I'm very interested because you guys already know, if you've been with us for almost the 6 years I've been on, the one thing I make sure to do all the time is I heckle him about UCF. I heckle him. And now that he's in the Big 12,
Yeah.
they didn't cut the mustard last year. They cut the mustard a little bit, but they got Colorado. It's a sports show, everybody, somewhat. They got Colorado in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna
Oh,
be
they're
there
better. Yeah,
tomorrow.
there better be. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
That one's gonna
stuck
be.
in between because my
Mm.
whole point of this college season is to be a hater. To
Mm.
hate on Mario Cristobal because he's in the air and Boone sets are like just be gone. Well, not even Boone. I'm like World Series or be gone. Like those two. Cristobal, he's just gonna mess it up magnificently. But then like and I don't hate Dion. I don't hate Shador. I don't hate Salo. I don't hate Travis Hunter. I hate how the program is being presented as these winners, and they didn't really do much of winning. They're
Mm.
good at bringing media rights. They're good at bringing licenses. But at some point, at 35 for me, I think I just got sick of all talk, all flash, no substance.
Yeah. Oh.
And UCF came back against TCU, which is on the downturn, but that's a different story. That will be when he's there. Vitamin Shop taught me a lot of stuff, and don't do the cleanse because all you're doing is pooping out everything. But then you're going to rehydrate eventually. What you're really going to do with the fatting is just curbing the amount of portions that you put on plate. So if you love that big old rice, you do a little bit of rice. What you can do is drink in smaller glasses. If you do juice or soda, so instead of the 16 ounce, you do the 8 ounce. On your plates, don't do the big large plates for your dinner, do the small plates. And really what you should do is either decide which one should be your big meal of the day.
Mm.
I usually do lunch as my biggest meal, whatever it is, and dinner is just whatever I do because typically I'm working out 5 days out of the week. So, and breakfast, man, like it's scant. Granted, hold on, if I could tell you, but they need to improve on. I bought like the 48 box variety pack of Pop Tarts, and I told myself, all right, Charles, just a single. We're gonna talk about food today, guys, because I tested something new,
True.
and I'm
We,
gonna
we
do
can
live
have
testing of
both
another
extremes of the spectrum, or like exercise, but also like unhealthy shit.
one. Because when you die, you don't bring two things with you. My full belief, you don't bring your stomach and you don't bring your genitals. So, fellas and ladies, just eat and live. That's the
Yeah.
way I'll say it. Don't puff daddy it, please.
Yeah.
But you can control it. So it's really the diet that comes around because you could run every single thing that you want. You could do all the cardio, you could do all the weightlifting. But if you're just literally eating like slop every day, it's not gonna happen. So you're gonna make this beautiful transition. I think, I don't know, it's whatever you want to do. You could be a big boy. I don't give a shit. Like 9, just 10. Just be all I care about is power. And that's gonna come and get me because I've lost a lot of weight because when I was Mr. Powerful, I was like 185 and I weighed in today at 162, and that's where all the injuries have come up, man. The shoulders because I was trying to get to 200 on bench. The back that popped out that I was dying is because I was like, military pressing at 100. The deadlifts for whatever reason doesn't like get me. And that's what surprises me the most. But my hips are like Shannon Sharp level, baby. You know what's up.
Yeah.
Dominic Foxworth. Just give him
Oh, that
a
was
shout
great.
because,
He's funny. He's really funny.
oh, he's so deadpan. Hips seem fine to me. And I was like, man. And I love that because the reason why this show was created, this podcast was created, is because of how much we despise the way media was going in sports. But then you bring in a genuine personality, not artificial. And I'm gonna say it right now, and they're not gonna follow, but the Skip Baylesses, the Stephen A. Smiths, they're artificial. They might be credible. They have clout, but they felt artificial. The genuineness dissipated throughout the years. And I see like Dominic Foxworth just on First Taste even go on Twitter say it might be worth it out. He brought that to us. You know who else brought it? And it's the damn shame that they fired him. But I think it's because he was more magnetic and charismatic. He could have been a guy to take over. Was RG3.
Yeah.
That was super genuine. I always thought he was intelligent when he was just in Baylor. The guy had I believe, a bachelor in political science. So, mi gente in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I got feelings and opinions on it. But bring it all together. If you feel that it's going to benefit you, and let's be real, a wedding always is the kickstart. One of my weight loss kickstarts because everybody and the mother was getting married one year, and I'm like, okay, and that's when I was like super single. You know what I mean? Like 2018, I was a lawyer. You know, me and my ex had split. I'm like, all right, I'm about to hot to trot right here.
I feel like I was in a good spot until like I had the whole I gotta get the fuck out of Miami and this job thing, and I just took I took a month off of actually like taking care of my body, and it kind of put me back. So now I think finally after like a month and a half now, I'm finally transitioning back to where I was. Not weight wise, I still gotta cut that a little more, but like
routine is results.
Yeah.
I've been doing that, and then one of my WWE shirts from AJ Styles, it's probably my third favorite shirt because I have to make it about wrestling, is never rest, never rust. And I am a mantra person. The reason why I'm a mantra person is because I'm a danger to myself if I just am not directed. So I need like that guiding light North Star. At work right now, it's all levels, and maybe one day I'll explain to you guys. But when it comes to the gym, it's like routine results and, never rest, never rust. Unless you're sick. And if you're sick, don't go to the gym because you're only going to get worse, guys. You might get that anxiety, but don't do what I do. That's how I got bronchitis all those years ago.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, we might as well talk about sports, right? It's a sports show. Well,
let's talk about the sports that doesn't have Andrew involved because he's got some college stuff. I'm going to let him have his TCU.
So I mean, it was like basically Shohei hit 50.
Shohei Mid-Tani. I talked about last week. I don't care anymore about these accolades. You know how I feel about the 50-50 stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like the base runners are just getting it to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, fine, he did it. I kind of like this better than what Ronald Acuna Jr. was doing last year. I mean, of course, I'm a hater.
That's the problem. But we're already, man, like and we're talking about real haters coming in. So I'm gonna break that in right now, guys. Is that last year was a broke record at the usage. Now we have another record the first time. It's not special as it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the rest of the baseball race, I mean, the Marlins suck, so that's fine. The White Sox are going for the record right now, so I'm hoping that happens. They kind of got slightly hot for like a little bit because they were facing the Angels, but now they've lost 2 in a row. They're at 117 losses, so just 4 more, and they make the record. So, with like. How many games to go? They've got like 13 games to go, or actually probably less than that. Yeah, something of that nature. So, or actually less. No, 9 games. 9 games to go. So
yeah,
they could have a winning record 5-4, and they'd still break the record. So I'm hoping that happens. Just because it'll be funny, and it's the White Sox, so nobody really cares.
It's the White Sox, who has, if not the first, the second most forgettable World Series win.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers is coming, man, because they've been awful because everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
But they're like, at least, man, like, I think the White Sox in 06, after they won in 05, were competitive.
They won, like, their division, like, 2 years later or something like that.
I legitimately can't recall a World Series winner who just went to nothing afterwards. Like, not even, like, second best, but barely missed out on a wild card because of injuries. Like, you're not even in contention. You're, like, sub 500.
Yeah, at least in the last 15 years.
And I don't want to be that guy. I'm gonna, because I didn't watch last year's World Series, so that was boring as hell. Was like, I kind of blame the Diamondbacks for just being what their record finally reflected for the reason why Texas got there. They look to be good now, but they did the same song and dance. And I've been into more sports for baseball this season because I was in a do or die situation with my fandom. Not that I would ever let them go, but the dying was like, I hope this manager's never managing again. And when you have that hate boner, folks,
Yeah.
you look at everybody who is a threat. I'm looking at Milwaukee right now.
Yeah.
The Dodgers I really don't take consideration, but I'm looking at Milwaukee. I'm looking at Philly.
Yeah.
I'm like
Philly.
really. I was looking at the Baltimore Orioles, but I'm like, hold up here. How much concern should I have about Kansas City or the Tigers? I think Minnesota's going to fade out. So like when you're really seeing the stakes in that pit, you know, you got to pay attention to it. You got to pay attention to it. Ugh. I don't like watching Milwaukee baseball, especially if Christian Yelich, who I vouched to get 2 back-to-back MVPs, but he only got 1, isn't playing. Bryce Hoskins plays some damn good ball, and Churio, I like him. I like the kid. What can I say? But like Shohei,
and they have that whole revenge factor, like counts a lift them, and it's like, okay, cool. You know.
The problem is, like, if they won it, like, let's say we're just gonna do this now. If they won it, it's one of those like, oh, I'm glad they won it, and I don't care if we get. It was like the Nationals when they won it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the irony does not fall upon me that if they win it, they did it without Corbin Burns, which makes you wonder the importance of actually having starting pitchers. Because here I am, I like fondle the balls of Garrett Cole. Like, you know, I'm not attracted to men. I'm attracted to that man because of all that he's done. I have, you know, all these professions on this gentleman. And then they're like, we're going to trade away a guy who was in consideration at NL Cy Young. I don't remember if he got the Cy Young last year. And then they're actually going to be consistent, not just clear. Because here's the thing, like, oh, they cleared a bad division. Sure, whatever. People clear bad divisions all the time. But like, I think they're legitimately better than. I think they're actually better than the Dodgers. Forget the win-loss record for a second, and you look at the substance. Because the Dodgers, their entire pitching staff is just injured. The only guy that they got going on is Flaherty. All the other ones are injured. Shohei, as special as you think he is, trust me, as a Yankee fan, and I had Murderer's Row, I've seen hitters just disappear. I've seen hitters disappear. The rotation changes. You know what? And I break his balls. I break his balls a lot. But the reason why now I'm breaking his balls is because this man is legitimately going to be a perennial MVP. But I just need to see it in the postseason now. Yeah. That's why he went to LA and the Dodgers team. And because I've been there, I've seen Gary Sheffield like not accomplish it, and I love him. I've seen A-Rod disappear for so. A-Rod, I should start with him. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm so sorry. A-Rod was the guy that we're talking about. Yeah. I've seen Giambi kind of shit the bed. 11. Yeah. You know, going from there. I've seen these guys. So I'm over Ohtani, and now you're telling me the whole accomplishment is that he stole bases. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I think stolen bases stat tracking is irrelevant unless you stealing on base was a cause to you winning games.
Yeah, like you scored a run RBI afterwards.
Yeah, like it really is useless because it's so hollow. Because how many times have we seen, oh, he stole a base, he went from 1 to 2nd or 2nd 3rd, and then there is a screw up in some capacity. There's a double, there's a ground, or you get a Julio Rodriguez who forgot to go back to the base, and he's still young. So I think people forget that, but it's a bad move because I think that's baseball 101. That the catcher's always catcher being whoever's on defense, whoever the baseman is always going to have their foot right there. But I'm just over them. So like I'm evaluating these teams, and then part of me sees Chicago because see I can bring it all back, guys. I'm looking at the White Sox. And I'm like, man, Jerry Reifsdorf is just god awful, and he's also off for the Bills. He's not like Nolan or Dolan in New York, where you have like some competency with the Rangers. Now you get some competency with the Knicks. Fantastic. Yeah. It's just all terrible. And I'm not saying that Chicago deserves a good team with the White Sox, but with the Cubs kind of being like, floaty, real floaty. Yeah. Like, you do it for the kids and you do it for the fandom, because I don't know what it is to have like a bad New York lifestyle as a fandom, as a Yankees fan. But my uncle is a Mets fan, but not the uncle who taught me the Yankees, but my married into marriage uncle. And like seeing his joy in 2015 and then just having that heartbreak going and then doing all this stuff to get these players and knowing that they fire sold them as quickly as I got him with Verlander and some of the other guys, I got this man like a Jacob DeGrom bobblehead. I love
Yeah.
that guy. Like I just love DeGrom too. On the side note, they ruined him, but like it makes you appreciate it. And you, as a Marlins fan, understand that where you actually won World Series.
Yeah, 21 years. But like even last year, like we made the playoffs out of nowhere, and it seemed like okay, we can actually build on it. Now I'm seeing Jazz.
And you're gonna lose.
I see Jazz. I see Jazz. Celebrating with the Yankees with Giancarlo,
so
and just like that.
He's
Yeah,
so happy.
yeah.
He was in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
was with his
yeah.
first.
Shoemaker's probably gonna go like to the Cardinals or something.
No, he's gonna go to the Yankees because if Boone does not win this, I want Skip.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, I was asking for Rick Renteria because I was like, because Rick Renteria made that team kind of competent with the White Sox, and it's no. All right, I gotta do this. I'm putting down the controller because I'm talking with my hands. It is no coincidence that the minute you brought in antiquated Tony La Russa, and we loved Tony La Russa back then, but he was out of the game for a very long time. It's not like Joe Torre going from the Yankees to the Dodgers. Oh, the New York came out of me. I'm sorry. It was he like skipped for so long, and he was just like an advisory to the MLB, and then he couldn't touch base with anybody, and then he was like, "All right, I'm out." And you really said because you can set back a franchise with players and you trade away or you sign or you draft, and you can definitely set them back.
Yeah.
On who you decide to match, and Renteria made your team in that relevancy above 500. I don't remember if they went to the playoffs, but that's who I was like. But now. They did. And now I'm just looking at Skip. I'm like, hey, there.
The White Sox made the playoffs in 2021. They looked like they were like legit one of the teams that was going to be like up and coming.
Tim Anderson was hitting. Jimenez
because like
something.
They fired Renteria like the season like after the pandemic season, right? So 2021 is when they hired La Russa and they went to the playoffs and won the division and all that stuff. And then like the whole antiquity, it caught up. Like I think they won that division in spite of La Russa, not because of him. So
yeah, and then he just lost out everything.
Yeah,
and
he's like 89 years old. I mean,
well, the reason why Skip comes in consideration is because you got Jazz, and Jazz will vouch for him.
Yep.
Like Stanton still loves his Miami days. He loves us. Like I enjoy Stanton. Like seriously, I do enjoy him. Yeah. He just always hurt, but he does what I need. Because I mean. Those 25 home runs, the guy's always like making an impact, so that's just the reality of it. And I don't know why this mission has me remain undetectable, but I got so passionate to talk about Jazz and Giancarlo. But it's an easy link because you already have a guy that you have for 2 years that I think Jazz is going to be cheaper to extend anyway because there's something about being put on a team where you're the fourth option batting. He's definitely a good third baseman. I can't wait till he's a second baseman because Gleyber is probably going. Gleyber had a bad year this
And you also have was it Dominguez in the minors that they can't.
Yeah. Well, they're never going to trade him, right? That's the whole thing. They're never going to trade Yasin. But what the hell am I get to the haunted? But Skip Schumacher's, is something I want. I just know how to fix you. But the point, because we went on the tangent, but it's our show, so we can do what we want, and it is about sports, is that I'm identifying certain selective teams. Because the thing is like if the Yankees get eliminated, right? I have to say, the team I can support for it's that Kansas City Royals kind of vibe, or that San Francisco Giants kind of vibe. Like you want to kind of see them, you like certain players, and you want the feel good thing. But Kansas City is like you knew there was not all the Hall of Famers in there, but you want to see like this team that was literally a farm system for 25 years deliver. And with San Francisco, it's just like they're already winning. I loved Lincecum. I loved all their other guys, Matt Cain, a few other ones that they have. Of course, their other pitcher who's now
Buster Posey,
Buster Posey, Zach, whatever. Going from there, and then also, what's his name? Their manager, work with me here. Bochy, won last year. So I'm telling you guys right now, like, if it is it incendiary if I say he's technically better than Joe Torre?
I mean,
I don't know.
He's done more with less.
Yeah, and the thing is to go elsewhere. And remember, that Texas Rangers team didn't have select pitchers there. Yes, it was an easy layup of a series. But, I mean, like, I'm always going to be impressed by a manager who can win.
Yeah.
With multiple teams.
Yeah.
With different variations of talent.
First year, too. First year.
Yeah. It is not the Phil Jackson equivalent because Phil was just like super loaded, but they also
Yeah.
had the supercharged Phil. I know it's two different sports, but I'm gonna poo poo on Phil Jackson a little bit. Plus also just teams didn't know how to beat him, right? Or Utah, poor Jerry Sloan. But I look to evaluate, so that's why I'm keeping some feelers. I'm okay. I would not hate at all Philly winning it as long as they don't play us, because Bryce, it makes
Yeah.
sense. You need contracts, these big contracts that lure teams away to other teams. He already got MVP. It feels right, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I can't live with anybody in the AL because my team's in it. If my team wasn't in it to win it because we clinched last night, I can
I'm looking
find
at
somebody.
this. I'm looking at the standings right now. So, you don't. I definitely don't want the Orioles for sure. Given
I would cry.
yeah,
I would
some
cry.
of the beef.
And
Yeah.
I don't even like consider them, but I would cry. I'm like, damn it, you
Yeah.
know.
You got the Astros.
No,
You know,
absolutely not.
especially
For a
if they
reason.
rebeat you guys in another series.
Well, that's always a possibility.
Yeah. You've got the Cleveland.
Yes, I would be 100% behind it.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that you have the same team that's been building that didn't
Yeah.
pick anybody up, and then Francona left.
Yeah.
You know, and the
Yeah,
thing is,
and Stephen Vogt's also a likable guy as a manager. So.
yeah, well, they also should have won when they played the Cubs, but like whatever that base era was,
Voodoo
just didn't
magic
hold-
and a bunch of stuff
But
happened.
but the thing is like I think there was a controversy. Like it was there was bad play calls. I'm not saying the conspiracy they wanted the Cubs to win, but I was like, I watched that entire World Series. My buddy is a huge Cubs fan, and no matter what, even though he managed the Red Sox, I always like Francona.
Yeah.
You know, you earn my respect.
Everybody loves Tito. Let's see. Then you got like all the fringe wildcard teams. Kansas City.
Yeah, I could get behind it because I can't name a single.
Yeah,
person
it's plus
I'll
it's like
look
their
at the
first
stats.
good year in like so long, right? So the same thing with the
They won
Tigers.
World Series.
The Tigers.
No, I can't because I can't do the Tigers because of the fact
AJ
that,
Hinch.
AJ Hinch.
Okay.
I need the cheating
Yeah.
to kind of hold up.
Minnesota.
Sure, but then like I don't want to say Minnesota's like a dying breed, but like the Twins at some point.
Always like they're just like they're reliable enough to make the playoffs. You don't really just like any Minnesota sports team.
I mean, I got this, and I think maybe you understand. They're the Jack Black of baseball. You don't want to really see them kind of steer in the main movies, but if you put them in like a side gig, something goes on, right?
Yeah.
Like just don't fully. I know what you're trying to say.
Kung
Oh,
Fu
Charles
Panda.
Orange.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
well, Kung Fu Panda. That's fine.
All right,
That's the
Jack
thing.
Black
There's
since
Kung Fu
like
Panda things.
the end or the beginning of the 2010s, basically.
Give me Jack Black, Tropic Thunder kind, because
Okay.
nice guy,
Yeah.
but like he's better Bowser, right? But really it was like on the
He's
Chris
Steve
Pratt
in Minecraft
kind of
so
vibe.
we'll see how that
Steve
works.
and I can't even explain that. Like,
My
why do we
nephew,
even
my
make,
nephew loves Minecraft. I showed him the trailer. He's like, no.
yeah? Why do we?
What are
even,
they marketing to?
I know it sounds terrible, but why do we even make game movies at this point? Like nothing.
I mean, we're
fulfills me.
doing
It's like,
Sonic 3, so that's set in stone.
I'm gonna say it's a little different, and this is why I'm gonna tell you different, because Sonic has a very simple premise, right? Robotnik wants something, Sonic has to stop it. Mad scientist, it writes itself.
Yeah, and they
like even the Mario movie was just like the let's swallow greatest hits kind of thing.
They adapted the from like a real world type of premise into the game's actual premise.
Yeah.
So like they've transitioned very nicely from like, okay, Sonic 1, but he's like they try to explain how he's in this world type of thing. And then ultimately, okay, they establish him. Then like Sonic 2 is just like, let's just make Sonic 3 the movie. I'm like, fuck, 2. Like that's my childhood right there.
No one's gonna hate that at all.
And then Sonic 3 is like, let's just do Sonic Adventure 2, the movie. I'm like, well, shit, 3 or 4. Like, yeah, just give me everything that I love in my entire life. Go ahead. So they've played the audience to a T with those
Sonic's
movies.
not complex, whereas Minecraft is a build. That's like what it is.
Minecraft it's too open ended for you to.
Yeah,
do
but
anything.
it's basically like, oh hey, let's do a Sims movie, which I think Margot Robbie's trying to do. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but that's the whole thing. I'm like, but what are we doing that?
Surprise.
What are we gonna do next? Roller Coaster Tycoon? Actually, you know what? I would 100% watch a Roller Coaster Tycoon movie because it's simple. Like the bare bones movies turned out to be better. Mortal Kombat, the first one. I didn't watch the remake. I
Yeah.
actually loved I actually loved Annihilation.
Annihilation.
I loved it. It was stupid, but they
Yeah.
killed Johnny Cage and it was my favorite character. Um, but I'm like, all right, when you keep it the purest bare bones of Blueprint, you're not having purist. But like, if they ever made like a cyberpunk movie, I'm playing it right now. I'm like, oh man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna be kind of annoyed. Like Alan Wake, the show. I love you, Sam Lake,
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
I have trepidation.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because
I'm a bit
the more
scared.
modern day games like Borderlands failed for a reason, amongst many things. Jack Black, right? Amongst many things, it's like you're taking like games that are like 50 hours,
Yeah,
not always story, but
and
that's still a lot of stuff to digest.
the
Sonic is like
Remedyverse. Yeah,
fucking
Sonic's just it. But like
Sonic's 2 hours, man.
I mean, the Remedyverse is also like it's so niche as well.
Yeah,
So like you're like we see the elements of like the Twilight Zone and Twin Peaks and stuff like that. Like you know, people forget like Twin Peaks was not a show for such a long time for a reason. You know,
yeah.
it's and like yeah, the Twilight Zone, but like you they like Jordan Peele tried to make a new Twilight Zone, right? And does anybody remember that or what was going on with that? So you know, like
But I think for the Remedy people, it's a sports show, guys. It's a variety show now. With the Remedy stuff, it's more about like who would just be the producer. Just avoid Netflix, but if you get it on like Apple TV, sure,
sure,
sure.
yeah, just a streaming platform would be nice and digestible at the very least, but like not.
I
For...
mean, you already have Severance, which is a good movie or show.
I've
Watch
heard,
that.
yeah, I've heard good things about it.
It's good. I have no complaints. And I think it was like one of my last sponsors or not sponsors.
As long as you know, it all matters is like who's handling the adaptation, right? So
Well, the reason why it's going to be tough. Side note: Francisco just finished Alan Wake 2 on a second
I
playthrough, the
did.
final
That
draft.
was
So
on my list.
this is super relevant. It's going to be like if they get the DLC, it will be my spooky season game. If it not, then I'm just going to play it. But oh man, I had a thought. So the whole thing is like, how do you explain the whole dichotomy where we know was it Wicca, the guy who is the body for Alan.
Oh, well,
Villa.
Oh, Ilka Villa.
Ilka. But yeah, you have Ilka being in there, but like he's not actually voiced by him. He voices Zane, and then
Yeah.
you have to figure out what Alan Wake do you want to interpret, because 1 and 2. Oh, this is so tough. I have theories on this, and I hate Sam Lake and love him for making me think on it. 1 and 2 are technically sequels, but like I think it's parallel universes. But that's just me, and that's the reason why like this Alan looks like that Zane when in the first game it wasn't. Even though they try to tell me they there's the old and remember Sam Lake is a student of the game. There's the whole concept of like an unreliable narrator, and
Yeah.
Alan is the ultimate unreliable narrator. So, as he's in the dark place, he's going crazy. There's a lot of stuff, but we don't have the time for the lore at this moment. But you put it on Apple TV to survive. But gaming industry is never going to like hit, because I heard like the new Mortal Kombat wasn't that good, the movie, and that's expected, because I don't want to watch a movie about Mortal Kombat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what actually I want to watch that makes more sense if you actually do it as a movie? Punch Out.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean it's such a Rocky clone in a sense.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and we love
A
copy.
Nintendo-fied, PG Punch Out could work.
Yeah, Little Mac just coming in, and then we're gonna get Zelda, and you and I both know the Legend of Zelda is just not gonna work.
Yeah.
I just know that. If you did
Yeah.
animated, like a 2D, like man, if you, I'm
A
not gonna lie, I'm
short,
entertained
a
to see it.
10 episode animated series. A
No,
short
if
one.
but even if you had to make a movie, if you gave me and I've never seen Studio Ghibli, but if you gave me Studio Ghibli animation, how Charles
Oh
never
my
seen Studio
God.
Ghibli? I'm sorry, like that's just really. I know what the animation looks like, guys, but if you give that animation style, you have some substance.
Yeah.
Metroid, we've already talked about it. We've literally talked about before how I
Yeah.
think it's actually the IP and franchise that they should have.
Yeah, I mean Brie
jumped
Larson
on.
wants to do it, so
Yeah, but even I mean, really, like I understand Brie Larson. My whole thought process would have been the lady who was playing Gwendolyn Christie, who was actually Captain Phasma in the Star Wars movies, Brianna Tarf, and she was all these other stuff. But just on the stature and the command, even though, like, how do you like your Samus though, right? That's always going to kind of be like the hard part.
Yeah.
If you like Metroid Zero, or not Metroid Zero, other M,
Yeah.
well, well, buddy. But you have proprieties, but you also have to know that they're no pun intended, but you have to know what Icarus is going too close to the sky kind of vibe, and that's where like
Kid
Sony
Icarus.
failed,
I
right?
mean,
But
they got
Sony,
you got the Greek mythology type of angle there.
well,
So
remember Sony made like the Ratchet and Clank movie, which bombed, and that was supposed to
yeah.
be in congruence with the game that came out on PS4, which was just okay.
Mm.
Rift Apart, fantastic. I gave that what an 8.5 out of 10, and I think it holds. It depends. So I'm gonna
Speaking of
segue
Sony,
a little bit.
Concord.
Well, you know what? Is it so much that Concord was a bomb, or are we just so quick
It
to
was.
appease esports? I knew nothing about it. I didn't invest into it because I
I
don't like
didn't.
PlayStation.
Yeah. It's like I mean, I was just looking at the story of it, and essentially that they greenlit it, thinking that the console generation was going to go a certain way,
Yeah.
with regards to like, okay, everybody's going to be playing a live service type of, hero shooter type of thing, and
Well, I think part of that arrogance too was like Overwatch 2. I understand they say Concord's been 8 years in development. I can guarantee you it probably had 5 different names before it was
yeah,
Concord and that vision.
yeah,
But all right.
and ultimately Sony was banking on more of the live service stuff, thinking that this would be the console generation for it, but then they realized that
Well, because no one's playing Destiny 2.
yeah, and then they realized that well, we people actually really buy us for our single player games anyways, and
Absolutely.
because like if you wanted all the multiplayer stuff, you can just get an Xbox and just deal with just deal with that and just play all of those. But the PlayStation was built on its exclusives, and they put a lot of their eggs in the baskets of those that it's gonna take a bit away until they can develop some newer single player games, especially now with the PS5 Pro. They're gonna want something to showcase that type of stuff. So that's why
And
this year is kind of a
speaking,
slow year.
the last
Especially.
the last multi-team game that I remember. Oh shit! I keep messing up on this because I wasn't paying attention what this mission was.
What
The
was
last
the bug killing game that you were doing this year?
Oh, Helldivers. That's fun.
That's Sony
Helldivers
though,
was
right? Is
fun.
that Sony or is
Yeah,
that some other company?
it's Sony by
Yeah.
a sub department.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
did
All
it.
right. All right. All right.
Yeah, it's Sony by a sub department, and I like to put like 13 hours into it, but I have to diversify my games, and I have friends who I play with, but it's kind of tough scheduling. Sorry, Steven. I know you want to play more. My apologies.
Yeah. And I haven't picked it up to join in. So.
Yeah, and that, but it was a good time. But like, not everything needs to be like 80 hours for me to justify the purchase. I said 13 hours. I played it. I had a good time. I did stuff with it. I was like, all right, this is it. Like I'll come back into it. I own it. It's digital. I'm not going to be able to like. I'm just going to bug out of no pun intended. I'm gonna bug out of Cyberpunk because I don't even know what the hell I was doing in this mission. Point being is that you're going to get the varieties, but like I think the last multiplayer game that was Sony based was SOCOM that I actually even bought, played, and enjoyed.
Like PS3
So that's
era?
a callback. PS2
Oh
SOCOM.
crap! My God, that's like
I'm
the,
getting,
the OG.
but yeah, but it is the OG because they've never been like games I've known for. Like, they just rely on other people's multiplayers because
True.
they're like, okay, we go for this multiplayer for do X Y Z. People
Yeah,
do
or
X,
they'll
Y, Z,
fund
that's
somebody
fine.
else's idea and then they'll yeah.
Yeah, like because I never played like Killzone and stuff like that, but I actually did like the first Killzone, and they say it was supposed to be their killer app, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like I don't like their tank controls and stuff. I was like, no, I'm good, I'm good. I've been looking at the Xbox, I've been looking at it because now
But is it necessary?
it's just nothing's necessary in life, You never really need to go for a second plate if you know a first plate's gonna keep you full, but you do it, man.
All right, so let's see. So we talked about the White Sox. We talked about the baseball and everything like that.
Well, let me ask you this: who would you like to summarize the baseball? Out of all the teams, if you love the game and you want to watch going to the World Series, who's the team that's not your team that you're gonna root for in this?
Let's see. Cleveland. Cleveland's won. I don't mind if they actually win it. I don't mind if Milwaukee wins it. I'm over the Christian Yelich trade. I know we lost it, so it doesn't matter anymore. The Marlins really, man, I've been really down with the Marlins this year. Like actively, like almost not nearly Miami Dolphins level of petty with my posts, but you could feel the vitriol in in all the things that I post for the most
I
part.
guess we have to talk about football now in a second.
Yeah, and then I mean, we'll get on the penny train at some point. Um, and then I've got let's see. I guess if I had to do an American League team, I mean, I want the Tigers to make it because I've kind of been feeling them for quite a bit now. Javi Baez got injured and they've just taken off ever since. That's always a fun narrative.
That's the irony.
Yeah, and their highest paid player who sucks, and suddenly they get good once he's like not on the team and not playing. And then so Detroit or Cleveland out of the American League, and then the National League. I know the Phillies would be annoying if they won it, so I'm not really rooting for them. I don't want the Dodgers.
They're
to
in
win.
your division too, so
Yeah.
you can't like.
I don't want the Dodgers to win because I kind of need narratives to keep going with that, especially with like Dave Roberts, the Doc Rivers of baseball, and
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean he's getting there. He's gonna get there at some point. I mean,
he surpassed it.
He got one kind of weird World Series and then nothing since, and they kind of look the same. And
remember, so here's the Doc Rivers. Dave Roberts is creating his own the DR narrative, the two separate DR squared.
Yeah.
Doc, remember, the narrative against Doc isn't that he won a ring, won a ring, and he couldn't produce. He's done it for different teams constantly getting hired, but his only ring came from his second professional team. Roberts got it in the Mickey Mouse year, but I still count that. I know you don't, but I still count it because whatever, you win it, fine, whatever. But like, it's the idea that you can't progress further than that, and you keep getting better players, and he will get another job when they eventually fire him.
I mean, he will, but it'll be the same thing.
You know what's going to happen. It's
Mm.
going to be a decline.
And then I've got which is kind of the Doc Rivers thing, where it's just not going to be as good as what it was.
But remember, Doc got it on the second team.
I mean,
so that is the big difference. That's the marketability.
Yeah, but Doc worked his way up because he was in Orlando, and it's fine. But
True, yeah.
he worked up to it. I always thought that Doc did better with less than with more, as a head coach. National League, I mean, San Diego finally just to I know people love the fraud. I mean, I know you love the Fraudres narrative, as well. But I mean, they kind of look like a really fun bunch this year. And
I would want it for Manny, not for
Tatis.
Tatis.
Yeah,
because Tatis is overrated.
And Luis Arraez is on the Padres now,
sure.
and there's him and Tanner Scott are on the Padres, so we got a couple of Marlins there. That'd be nice to see them win, especially like Arraez, because everybody like, oh, he only hits singles and he's not really valuable. It's like, I would love to see him like
great, man.
Go off in the World Series, get singles, and then score like every time he's on base, and see what happens when people see the value for that.
As a team who always just has bombers who strike out, singles are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
He's always on base. He struck out for like the first time in like, I don't know, like 100 games or something yesterday or something. And
I love clutch hitters like that, man. Seriously.
So I don't mind Milwaukee. I don't mind basically nobody from the NL East, no Atlanta or Philadelphia.
It's your division.
Yeah. So San Diego, Arizona, they're to me.
I like the narrative of like we were here last year, we come back to win it.
Yeah,
that's literally the Kansas City Royals thing,
or the Panthers thing from this year.
But like, I feel like we're gonna crown dudes who just haven't proven it to me, such as Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, Kansas City.
Seafood, by the way.
Kansas City would be nice. You got Bobby Witt Jr. having a fantastic year, and people trying to make the MVP case for him against Aaron Judge.
Please.
But
that's the reason why I probably can't go for them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my baseball stuff.
Cleveland would be my AL pick, undisputed. Whenever, like 100%, I would like be very happy if we can't get it. But right now, you guys don't understand. We clinched the playoffs. We didn't have playoff Charles last year.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be the worst human being.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like irascible because you know what the goal is. If we win it, I'm buying that title belt. I don't even care. I shouldn't spend that money. I don't care because this might be the way you view winning, guys. And this is where we're trying to get you and Andrew on because you've won something, and Andrew. He couldn't do it at that capacity, but the whole point is like this might be the only championship that you get in your lifetime. Isn't that like scary?
Yeah.
Not for me because I have multiple, but it's a terrifying prospect. So that's why you have to buy the merch.
Yeah.
You gotta buy that merch, man, because it might be like the Kansas City Royal fans, the three of them that are out there.
I mean,
all you got is that year.
Yeah. 2 seasons.
And then this might be the only time.
So well, I got the Panthers with the. I mean, I got. So I got the replica Stanley Cup up there. I bought another Stanley Cup actually.
Ooh, did you pull the Andrew theory? Like get like 3 mini ones for every kind?
I got the one that's filled with the ice from the actual Stanley Cup final.
Oh man, that's cool.
So I can I could freeze it, or I'm gonna have it in my office actually, so it'll be there. So I got that, and if I do go see the cup, if hopefully it's not this weekend, or I mean if it is this weekend, it'd actually be good, but not the next weekend. Then that would be great. All right, we're at halfway point. I knew we said we'd do non-sponsors any time, but whatever, I'm here. And
well, we're doing it right now.
Sure, why not?
It's good, guys.
We're from non-sponsors, people, places, things, and stuff, what have you. We've been enjoying over the last week. So I got mine already. Tomatillo.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Yeah, I
just
been on a real tomatillo kick lately, man. Just a real good one. I'm dipping this thing in I'm dipping my food in this all the time. And you know what the beauty of tomatillo is, Charles?
A little tang that you get with it.
Well, there's tang, there's some spice to it. Tomatillo salsa verde. It's 0 calories.
Yep.
You can just dump that. I don't know how they do it. It's brujeria, as we all know. Because there's absolutely no way. But it is 0 calories, and I got it from Conchita. And I go down to the little bodega that we have here, close by from my house, and I love going there because that's some good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna shout them out. Hold on a second. This is a double non-sponsor here. It's a double non-sponsor, so I'm gonna give mine as well to La Tapatilla because they have been legit clutch for me. They're right nearby. They are. I don't want to use precise location. They have a supermarket, like a real supermarket. I mean, mine is like a little
mercado.
Yeah, mine is like a little small one. Vive nuestras costumbres. Yeah, Hispanic supermarket. Yeah, and how many locations do they have? Because I just know of the little one that I've got here. Okay, They got one coming down in Broadway in West Palm soon. Okay, they got Westgate. The one in Southern, which is the one I go to and I love. They have one in Jupiter. They have one in Tamarack, and that's it. So, but yeah, Tapatilla. They make guacamole on the spot for you over there. Yeah, fresh guacamole. Like you got to wait like 10 minutes for them to do it, but it is absolutely worth it. And you get a free bag of chips with that as well. And they have a rewards program. My God.
I love rewards program.
They have a rewards program.
And I like free shit.
Yeah, you can. 12. Holy shit! You can order now. Oh, that's 5. Oh, you can order online. My God. Oh, Charles, I'm discovering new things right now, and this is very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
DoorDash, Uber Eats, man. You don't want to drive.
Yeah.
It's like that's beyond belief.
But they're a nice little supermarket. They're right there. I don't like. It's like there's a Publix, but Publix is expensive, and you got to go all the way over there. And I this thing is like right down the street from me. And I just like going there. They have, I can grab like 3 loaves of Cuban bread, get some guacamole, get some chips, get some from freaking Humex juice as well, and get some mango nectar's juice, and get my barbacoa, and get my cilantro, my limon, and my queso frito. Come back home and eat with the boys, the dogs here.
I want a queso frito so badly right now.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, they make some good stuff, man, and I really love this little supermarket. So Tapatilla, promo code. Tomatillo. That's where I got this idea. I all started from there. It's great, man. They got all the spices. They have the little mini market. It's not big. Like the one I go to isn't big. It's not a big place. but it's just enough. And of course, like any Latino market, you can get your cell phone repaired there. You can send money to your family back at
See
home.
me.
You can do the transferia, the wire transfers there. Get your SIM cards. Get your the joyeria.
Everything.
Yeah, you get all your stuff there at the same time. So there you go.
All right. All right, I guess I'll switch into mine. It was kind of it's kind of tough deciding because you have a whole lot of varieties and of what you want, what you got, and it's a person place. I think is that sometimes I want to just like designate new stuff and make it aware, but then I like go into the simple, and I'm gonna go with the simple for right now because with Thursdays I kind of remember like I'm retrekking when we do our shows and when I count it, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of hate them. I hate them right now because they're definitely price gouging. But today for lunch, because I had my car service, when I went to go pick up my car, I went to go eat. I picked up at Publix their hot honey tenders, not the sandwich, or the wrap.
Yeah.
I just went and got the tenders.
Yeah, and they have them ready made there. You just pick them up and go.
Ready day. I just picked them up, and as I'm there, they were doing what I despise so much, but I needed to do it. Was, and this is relevant to a little bit maybe later in the segment. They're doing like buy two get one free on like Frito-Lays and Ruffles chips.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the way I do is like you got to do these, either the party pack or anything else. But if it was 3 for $12, that means really like a full bag of chips is $4, which is what they used to be back in the day. So I was like, all right. So I picked up full sour cream and cheddar, Ruffles sour cream and onion, and I picked up, and I have it in front of me right now, and I don't usually eat during the show, but after the non-sauce, I picked up the all dress. And the reason why we know about all dress is because of Letterkenny and the great chip debate.
Yep.
And in front of me, it says all dress, #1 Ruffles flavor in Canada. What does dress mean? Find out on the back. And it goes, because when you have ridges, the crunches are crunchier, the dipping strengths are multiples, and your chips become Ruffles. And we love because we're, but they are all dress, as I read. I bet you're all wondering what all dress means. After all, in America, it means you're all wearing clothes. But in Canada, all dress actually means some delicious, ridgy chips that somehow taste salt, savory, and sweet all at the same time. Sounds good, huh? And that's when I shop at Publix, is when I can get the buy one, get one freebies, like I do with their bread. I think they're ridiculously overpriced, but the lunch I had for the hot honey tenders that was 0.84 of a pound, so ounces, right, coming into it, was only like $8.45, and I was perfectly full, and it tasted so good. And thankfully I was home eating my meal so I can relieve myself of that greatness. But I usually get them for lunch, but I'm highlighting that because when you need some food and you're being told how expensive fast food is, and yet somehow you're still compulsively getting it. We love Wendy's, but you're still compulsively getting your Wendy's, your McDonald's, all this other stuff, and you're doing it, it's costing you $15, $20 even. It's kind of ridiculous knowing that I could just get a pre-made hot honey tender. I can get, they're making cod now. I wouldn't know how I feel
Fish.
because I knew people who worked at Publix, so that's how I'm gonna start this conversation.
Yeah.
But with like baked cod sandwich, but they're also making like a chicken tender sandwich, which has my or burger, like whatever. It has a burger, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
even they're doing their pre-made wraps for like $8 or $7. It's of good value if you just want a little bit more meat to it. Because the other suggestion I always tell people is like, if you're hungry but you gotta save money, just go get Wawa's wraps and call it a day. Because like $5 actually saves you a substantial amount of money if you have to be on the go. And I covered 3 counties, and some of them are as far as 37 miles from my own home, so I don't always bring a brown bag. You know what I mean? So my non-sponsor, if you guys haven't got it, it's Publix. We've done it before. They annoy the hell out of me because of how much price they got it. Because I don't go there for water. I don't go there for soda.
Yeah.
They're price gouging. But when it's these buy one get one frees.
Yeah.
Or a close freeze, because the Charles math is like, really, this is what it would have been, so I can just stock up. And sure, you eat chips traditionally. I love chips. Pretzels are too high. Pretzel bites that have the peanut butter stuff should not be $8.29. Get over yourselves. But it's sponsoring those deals, because I also get the buy one get one half or free on the breads, because the breads are going to come out to like $3 loaves, and I have 3 people. It's the 3 of us, and sometimes I give the dog the bread. So yeah, I need that much bread, man, when I make my sandwiches to eat at home. But also, it's that their lunch portions are actually solid.
Yeah.
The food was delicious. They were meaty. They were chunky. It was flavorful. I bit into it. I was like, I love the hot honey craze. I think we've overdone it to a certain degree because it's been on pizza. I had that Pizza Hut Honey Hot for us.
Oh, Pizza Hut.
I'll try anything. I'll try anything for the show.
Really? Like
They did it.
I haven't enjoyed Pizza Hut in probably like 10 years.
I'm gonna tell you now, it fucked up my stomach over the weekend.
I told. I mean, that's partially part of the reason. Like,
You know, man,
yeah.
it's just some people do crack. I do foods I shouldn't do. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't smoke the rock. I eat the pop rocks. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because hint, I might have tried
I
a
don't
new
think
kind
Review
of
Bra
Oreo.
even gave that a good review. So.
You know, what the problem is, Review Bra, he does this whole thing. Well, just know what you're getting out of it. Just
Yeah,
remember
I
where it's
know.
coming from.
Mm-hmm.
However, side note, then Cantina Taco Bells are actually pretty solid. Like it shouldn't taste as good as they do. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've had some of them.
I burnt my. I told you I burnt my my fast food early this month.
August was
Wendy's.
bad. I had 4 of them, but it was birthday month. So you can technically birthday month. You're entitled to one more.
One
You're
more.
entitled to one.
Okay. All right. Cantina worth it.
Yeah. One of them because Taco Bell also changes their menus too much. I hate them for that.
Mhm.
It's just like dating somebody with multiple personalities. Which one do you want to be today? Which one? But yeah. So Publix promo code hot money. No,
Yeah.
you know what? Promo code affordable.
All
No
right.
free lunch, but it's an affordable lunch.
Let's see. What do I have got? You know what? We're at 116. Let's just hop on the petty train and just get this over with.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm in pain.
We'll save your Oreo adventures for the next one. Because remember,
Okay.
yeah, because we had because you had that inspired by the fact that the Leafs have Oreo in their helmets now.
Yeah. Are
so-
we live trying the all dressed?
Oh, are you doing it now? You doing this now?
I have it in front of me.
I mean, go ahead, man.
I'll do petty.
Do the review bra thing. Let's go.
All right.
I mean,
I feel like
this new format of the show, so
I feel like I should have.
I was gonna start
intro
getting
quick.
the green screen and everything ready to go for this one time at some point.
Our Chef True, ladies and gentlemen, is in. If you want to know this out, we're gonna bring our welcome everybody to Chef True's kitchen. And even though it's not truly good, it's truly tasty. And as you know, I am the one out of 3 of us who will put his stomach, liver, colon, and mental health on the line to try some of these weird things. What are some things you have tried before, Charles? I am responsible for eating the hot Cheeto sandwich, which I said was a 6 one-time gig. I've had like basically everything Wendy's has given me. I still love the Ghost Ranch chicken. Man. It is just the tits. It's just fantastic.
I'm going on the Ruffles website right now.
Let's go on the Ruffles website. That's fine. We are on an Oreo craze and adventure. Like Bilbo, I'm going on an adventure. We are on an Oreo's adventure because I have had at this time. We're gonna save for the next show because I still have plenty of it there. But I've had the mega stuff that I did for the show 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 5. I have done the birthday cake twice. I have done the churro. So much potential. Kind of hurt that they didn't do it. I did the Sour Patch, which I enjoyed a lot. I did the dirt cake, which was great because it's all just chocolate. It's the best one of the variety pack. Double stuff still reigns supreme.
Damn it, PepsiCo! I don't see the all dressed on your website.
Well, because it's a limited time, it was a public.
Yeah,
so I sent you the picture of it. You can just take it from the chat and go from there.
Yeah, I'll just research for it. That's fine.
And I did the Star Wars Jedi. It was the worst one because it's just blue creme, and I'm like, no, we don't just do novel. We don't do gimmick. We do substance up in this ish right here, and then fam, they got like Diet Coke, and we'll talk about next week. But as I told you, my announcement was at Publix. I saw the all dress, and one of my favorite episodes of Letterkenny, I think it's like season 8 or 9, is they have the great chip debate of what's the best chip, and everybody has like a personal feeling to it, and then everybody likes chips. Chips are like my weakness.
Right, I'm going to Walmart.com. Here we are.
Walmart.com. There you go. All dress, and just for the requoting, it's all dresses actually means delicious, rigid chips that somow taste salty, savory, and sweet at the same time.
I'm zoomed in right now on the bag right now. I got the Canadian. I hate Canada, but I also love Canada at the same time. You guys know this.
Well, you know the episode of Letterkenny I'm speaking about. It's what has
legendary.
Because if that was the episode, I think I go to you. I'm like, this is us.
There we go. I got the explanation on the screen right now.
So I'm gonna read to you what the ingredients are, and it's gonna make me wonder of how it all base could be, like it all dressed. So it's potatoes.
Yeah, I got
vegetable oil, corn maltodextrin.
Yeah.
Less than 2% of sugar, sodium diacetate, so that's probably a preservative. Salt, which I'm intrigued already, because I'm kind of getting back into salty chips. I don't like kettle chips, but I kind of like the salt. Dextrose,
I like Cape Cod.
Tarula yeast. I don't know what the hell that is. That sounds like a venereal disease. Monosodium glutamate, sodium paprika, garlic powder, onion
Okay.
powder. I'm already in on that because that's just gonna be heavy in spice, man. And then paprika extract, spices, and natural flavor. So my review drawing of it, we're gonna open it up. Oh, it smells good.
Oh, because if it is good, I'm gonna ask my sister to get it on the next pub run.
I'm trying to figure out what the scent is familiar. I swear to God, I know the scent. All right, so this first bite doesn't have a lot of dressing on it, like for an all dress, but doesn't have a lot of the dust on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could definitely fuck with this.
Okay.
15. I've also been following the chef guy reactions, but
I mean, we can do reaction videos at some point. Just like you tell me something we can watch, and we'll watch it.
I got two people.
Now that we're doing this on the Discord, I mean, I guess we'll transition to Discord. I don't mind. We've kind of been wanting to do it for quite a bit now.
All right. It's very crunchy. So, I think I know how to describe it
Okay.
the best way I can. Imagine a salt vinegar chip, which are not bad, sometimes a little bit too pungent, with a mesquite flavoring. And that's where the garlic, onion, and
Yeah.
paprika come in.
Okay.
Oh, I could fuck with this.
Ooh, what would you pair it with? What do you think? Like, straight up burgers.
Ooh, man. Pizza. If you have
Pizza.
garlic, because sometimes you get pizza and chips here at a party, because you
Yeah.
know pizza, you like the heavy garlic. Yeah. No, by itself, I think it's an interesting snack. Doesn't leave a lot of aftertaste, which is interesting because my favorite is from Ruffles, the sour cheese or sour cream and cheddar, but it has a very pungent aftertaste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barbecue's
That's the one we
barbecue.
always get. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean nothing ever beats Casey Lay's masterpiece barbecue chips, but barbecue chips in general, you can't mess that up, right? That's like vanilla ice cream. Like you just know the recipe, you're okay. But I think you could pair it with that. I don't know if I want to pair it with wings. It's more neutral base because it's not as dust heavy.
Yeah.
On it, but because I'm evolving too. Like I'm getting it more to.
I gotta learn to clip these things on TikTok because this is the stuff. This is the shit 6 that that really goes viral.
This is what we live
Gotta
here.
Spread us because that's the new sensation. And for as long as the U.S. is gonna let us have TikTok, so
yeah. Well, it also feels like, and I don't know how to explain this, but this is the ruffliest of ruffles, like because the potato chip is on its own texture. Mm-hmm. It's the ridgiest of ruffles.
Yeah, and it literally says that on this description here in Walmart. Hold on, it's at the bottom here. I highlighted it. Ruffles, all the thick ridges help hold more delicious potato chip flavors and send it to the thickest of dips. Yeah.
I mean, because I was choosing between this. Damn, this is actually pretty tasty. Because the thing is, it's not an overwhelming palate, so you want the next chip to keep the flavor. That's just very smart. That's how you get addicts like me going. But I was going to do that in the flaming hot cheddar because we're flaming hot everything. But I've had it before. It's okay. The actual better one is the flaming hot barbecue.
Let's see.
It had Jason Tatum on there.
Yeah.
But
single multiple count packs are delicious, served with dips or eaten. Yeah, well, okay.
You could actually do a dip on it because it's kind of neutral. As I brought my paper towel in there. Oh no, big fan. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. I mean, I don't. It's in mid tier because there's so many different varieties of chips. Chips is really just what you want to be. I don't try to tell people what chips to eat. I'll talk to you about cereal any other week. I'll talk to you about form of cookies and brownies and sweets, chips, whatever you want. You need a healthy rotation, man. You need a healthy rotation of chips, but I don't want to do ranking. I don't like to do rankings on chips if that's weird. You just buy it or don't buy it because you ever go to a party, the best ones are the ones that have like 5 bags of different chips that you can go on, plus one that's individually just for salsa as well, or queso. So like that's where I'm happy when you're not stuck to just like, oh hey, you have Doritos Cool Ranch and you have Doritos Nacho Cheese, and I'm just like, okay, I get that, but where's my Chex Mix? Where's my Frito, tortillas where I can mix my dip or queso? Where's some basic pretzels? Doritos are great, the best one's always going to be like the Extreme Nacho and Cool Ranch. We can use a little bit more dust on the Cool Ranch. I'm just saying, something's happened. Ranch is
Yeah,
not
they've
gone
gotten
extinct.
little. Yeah, they've gotten a little plain in that sense.
Yeah, very very plain,
Yeah,
very
they're
plain.
not
I'm like this.
as there's not as much of a actual kick to it compared to I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. They're holding out on
Yeah,
us for whatever reason.
we remember the Dorito
Inflation.
3D poppables. You kids would never know how great that was.
Yeah.
Unnecessary, but great.
Okay.
Uh,
Petty trade. So yeah,
uh,
let's go. Let's do
Thursday
it.
night games going on right now.
Yeah.
Mets are winning 14-0 against the Pats. Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even counting that as a curse word. It's
Oh,
it's a
my-
statement. It's like the
yeah.
Bible, thou shalt not kill, right?
Mm.
That's a commandment.
So I'm gonna put up the NFL scores. I had some of the highlights going on in the background this entire episode, but yeah, 14-0 New York right now. Over the last week, let's go open this right here. So week 2, so Dolphins. I won't go as hard with the narrative. The narrative's still the narrative for me, and we know this because that game was a disaster before Tua's head exploded. And it once again reiterated or reestablished everything that I have come to know about the Dolphins and how they've structured this team, which is not built to beat anybody that's actually worth beating. So
And that's not a slight at the quarterback either.
no, I'm not sliding Tua at all. I'm off the Tua ain't it type of thing anymore. It's just this.
Yeah.
It's just the structure of the team now.
He did throw 3 picks before his brain became liquid soup.
Yeah, and that like we kind of know what we're getting out of him at this point when it comes to actual high pressure situations as an NFL quarterback, and they threw out the big money to him, and they decided to do what
He ain't gonna be a quarterback anymore for y'all.
I know that this team has lost some pieces that would have made them better last year. So honestly, last year was the year. If they had to do this, if there was even a window, it was last year for sure. But in all honesty, I can't really. I don't know how. I still don't think Mike McDaniel is all that great at this point, and it just I am looking at all the people like I want to be more of a petty, but you know what? I got the petty dragon over with. The Panthers won the cup. I'm still dogging on the Leafs, which is great, and that's kind of where I've been shifting everything right now. It's to other NHL teams, but I'm just sad for everybody else, really, than anything else. I'm like, yeah, that sucks for everybody that actually thought this was going to be a season again.
Well, especially since Miami team bases are on the decline because the Marlins are still in super rebuild. The Heat, it feels like the end of the world sometimes, right?
We'll see.
And the
We'll
Panthers
see
haven't.
defending champions. Yeah,
defending champions, but can they galvanize new fan bases, which is always tough for people who've never watched the sport before. You should watch it; it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, the cup actually does help a ton. So at the very least, there's that. And yeah. So the narrative continues to push forward. The Dolphins can't beat anybody, but if Tua's out for this long, it's going to be a losing season. And you know what? I think a lot of people who were getting a little too cocky before the season, anyways, actually deserve this because I saw this coming in. And Doug, poor Doug.
Poor Doug.
I still haven't fully converted him yet. He's like I'm gonna believe every beginning of the season, and I'm just telling him, you know what's gonna happen, and you know I'm gonna be right, and look what happens. Okay, San Fran and Minnesota.
Good for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, so another one of those guys that.
And it's just one win.
It is just one win.
But good for him.
Good for him. Minnesota's 2-0 right now. This might, you never know. This could be like a Geno situation type of deal where, hey, it might have taken a while for him to get out of some bad situations, especially the New York Jets. And
If anything, it could be a John Kitna situation where the man ends up just getting a
true,
full-time contract somewhere.
true. And look, Minnesota's a team that like Cousins leaves, and this is an opportunity. So in a division where they could legitimately have a chance. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy for that victory in San Francisco. You know, that's fine. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seattle beat.
We don't care.
Yeah, Seattle beat New England
Yeah,
overtime. New
good for
England.
Gino.
Yeah, good for them. New England fought and was in it for quite a while. So I I don't feel comfortable like being like, oh, good for New England as like an underdog. It just feels wrong after so many
Well,
years. But
it's a whole new establishment.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, Jacoby
Um,
Brissett's back to where he started.
oh yeah.
Brandon, it's not Brandon Spikes, but what their coach is a former past. It's not Brandon Spikes, right? No, it's not Brandon Spikes. Why do I keep thinking it's Brandon Spikes?
Well,
I know it's not. I know it's not. It's
hold on.
but it's in my head. New England. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
New England head
Head
coach.
coach. Jared Mayo. Yeah, I knew
There we
because
go.
they were all like together on shit.
Okay. And got the Washington. Washington beat the New York Giants with just field goals.
Man, and then Daniel Jones is actually like being competent, and Lake Neighbors is looking good, and then Jaden Daniels like I'm just gonna throw like screens and short yardage.
Yeah, and then have our kicker beat you guys. So
Pay
that's
your kickers,
yeah,
guys.
yeah. And the New York Giants kicker was the complete opposite, which is this is a funny game. That was a funny game. That's probably the most hilarious game aside from the Eagles and the Falcons game. But we'll get to that. Let's keep going on here. The Chargers beat the Panthers, and Bryce Young's career
Bro,
is
poor guy. Because there's
yeah
like here's the thing. Everybody's talking about how bad
short
he is.
king.
I'm like, name me like a receiver on that team. Because
Mm,
remember, Deontay Johnson was like happily traded away from Pittsburgh. Tommy Tremble is like a third, fourth round tight end. They oversigned Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard's not doing anything. David Tepper is just a very bad owner.
yeah,
And actually, I think you know,
probably the worst.
I like the
He might be the worst owner in the NFL now that Dan Snyder's gone.
correct, yeah.
Yeah,
And I would say like I do like to a degree David Canellis if he was the one who brought us saying we're gonna bench Randy Dalton because you're not trying to make life best for one player, you're trying to make life best for all the players on the team.
mm,
So Andy Dalton does that. Andy Dalton does bring in a level of competency and awareness, but we're creating this very bad vacuum of like just giving up on quarterbacks and not suffering the consequences of like bad quarterbacks that we draft ever since Josh Rosen was popped out for Kyler. And I'm not saying Josh Rosen was going to mount anything, but I think people forget how hard it is even to like learn new offenses. So that's why midseason trades like for Josh Freeman when he went to the Vikings, right? And the Giants that 1 year at the Tampa got him out because Graciano is racist. And I'll hold on to that to the day I die.
mm,
Um, I like I wasn't impressed with Bryce when he was in Bama, but that's also because I know to just never care for Bama quarterbacks. Like, Jalen's regressed a bit, but now he's just more of like, we're just going to do tush push, and that's where you get more of your sets. Tua, debatable because when he played real defenses, it just wasn't. I know people hate when I say it, but he wasn't really like amazing. And
mm.
then your other stuff was AJ McCarron and a few others that you weren't going far with, brother. So I don't know what to Greg McElroy, like what do you want me to go on? So because they say they played easy teams, man.
Yeah,
College was like that. So Bryce was always kind of criticized, but if you didn't have a game plan, and now mind you, I think we went on it last year, or maybe I talked to, oh, not last year, last week, or maybe I talked to my paralegal about it. The whole like I don't think learning the game sitting and learning the game is going to actually teach these young cats
yeah,
because the idea isn't like it isn't like, oh, wait for them to be patient, because if you have bad management, no matter what, they're always going to be behind the eight ball because you have bad management. In that sense, you didn't like govern and manage them appropriately. But good luck to Bryce. I don't think they're going to trade him, but it's just
nah,
it's laughable just how much of a, and mind you, the Panthers are not like a great organization, but they're an organization I think that has some touch points between the Del Home and Cam seasons. They went to
yeah.
2 Super Bowls, so there's
And Cam
legacies.
wasn't too long ago,
Yeah,
but
well,
it was an
that's a
ownership change. So
It's an ownership change, but also like you're an organization that has a lot of fandom because you get 2 states out of this, man. You get 2 states for one team, whereas Florida has like 3 football teams. And then we're like, is Jacksonville even really real? Even though it's been around for like 30 years. And like, do we care about Tampa? And then like the Dolphins, San Marino. But you can bring in 2 of those. Really, what do you think? Because it's not the North Carolina Panthers. You just feel bad. You just feel bad because at the end of the day, these are young men who, whether or not they're good or bad, you can't say they're objectively terrible when you really see like there's no effort to give them the resources to even be average.
Yeah.
From what I'm saying, that's my
Uh,
Bryce Young box.
the Saints beat the Cowboys.
Hey, good for the Saints. I mean, there's questions and stuff like that, but you kind of need it. Alvin Kamara doing dirty work. I know this because I'm helping out one of our former law school buddies on his fantasy football, Charles McGee. Shout out to you, guy, who was having kittens every time. It's like, what should I start going from there? And I was like, start Kamara. And also, it's just the Cowboys, where you talk about a team that lives on its rest of the laurels of the name. They did not build a good offensive team. Dak, I think, is fine. I don't know why people hate him too much. And all you have is CD Lamb, Zeke, and all the other running backs
And
are
they paid
there.
him,
So
but
they paid him. Well, you have no choice, right? Because look at what's out there. Because what are you gonna get? You got Trey Lance that you're not gonna like have him over. You just have him as insurance in case that gets hurt. So what? Your next up is Bryce Young, and now here's the thing: Tua being basically donezo because you have to just take the forced retirement. So you have the doctor say you physically can't do it. Just live on with your life. The Dolphins got to look at, okay, Sam Darnold could be my starting quarterback. Should Bryce Young be my starting quarterback? Do I want to take a chance on Zach Wilson and say, hey, I'm Mike, McDaniel, and I can fix anything? Like, what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
But Dak, go from there. Take the loss. I think the NFC East is still weak, so this loss isn't going to kill them as much as they think it is.
Packers beat the Colts 16-10.
Good for Malik Willis. He wasn't the guy I loved when he was drafted, but he was a 3rd-round pick with the Titans. But if he did something for sustainability, because now with these vacancies, Tua, if he's gone for good, right? Maybe helps Malik Willis in the long run get a job as a starter, and that's fine. I'm here for the homies helping homies. I want that.
All right. Cleveland beat Jacksonville.
That's like asking which testicle you want removed, left or right, because Jacksonville's in my division, and then I just don't like Cleveland for obvious reasons. Because whether or not we find Deshaun to be deplorable, Jimmy Haslam's also
True.
So there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. The Bucks beat Detroit.
Good for Baker.
Good game. That was a good game.
Good for Baker.
Yeah. I mean, I want the Lions to win, but that's a good.
But good for Baker.
Yeah. Of course.
I think he's following the shoes of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And trying to restore his reputation. He's been able to do it, eloquently and adequately and best very well.
Let's see. Raiders beat the Ravens.
Good.
So
I mean, I think it's kind of.
Are the Ravens even really like how are they treating your boy?
I think it goes to. I mean, he got better. He had like 80 something yards in this game, but he's not ran
84.
the same way.
Yeah.
84.
And a touchdown.
But I don't know if he's washed, because can you call a guy who's gonna get you 1,000 yards washed? But the thing is, it's like, in football with 17 games, 1,000 yards is easy. So the demand is like I want 1,200. You know what I mean? I want some receiving. But I think there's a bigger issue, is that maybe John Harbaugh just isn't good.
Maybe
as
Joe
coach.
Flacco was elite for one season, and that was. Is he the Doc Rivers of the NFL?
Yeah, but it's
Sean Payton.
Actually, I think that'd be Mike McCarthy, right?
Or Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. At least Doc had some success with his other team. Sean Payton has been ass with the Broncos 16, and he's gonna remain to be, because I'm really seeing those cracks. Sean Payton is not as brilliant as you think. If anything, Mickey Loomis was a damn good GM who was able to draft all these. Devery Henderson was getting Super Bowl touches, man. Willie something. Another one. We got players we remember to get that were coming in, and Mickey Loomis got you Michael Thomas. He got you Chris Olave. I know that's a little bit past Breeze. He got you. I think he was a Joe Horn thing. Marquise Colson. Like, fellas, believe me when I'm telling you. You had all those running backs, the Reggie Bush era, the Deuce McAllisters in between.
Yeah.
You got Kamara in there. Like, it is a product of, like, your GM saved your ass.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, well, the Broncos lost to the Steelers.
Well,
So
there you go.
there you go.
Yeah. I mean, the
Uh,
battle of mids.
yeah. Arizona beat up on the Rams.
Boy, Marvin Harrison Jr., man.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that AJ Green kind of feeling. I think he was fourth overall pick, and so was AJ Green with Cincinnati. The game's a little bit different, but I'm talking about impact and what they can do. And I'm not a Kyler guy per se, but
Yeah, but
one man does
two
it all.
touchdowns, 130 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's like I don't hate people per se, but I just like being right. It's terrible, guys. I will know I'm losing an argument, but I will not relent that I'm saying wrong. Humble Pie is a segment we had to create for me to learn how to be better, to get into Kingdom Heaven, essentially.
Texans beat the Bears.
Meh.
Yeah, it's a bad game.
Yeah, I think people are too hard on Caleb Williams. If your problem is a quarterback paints his fingernails, boy, you have bigger problems in your life if that's your valuation.
Chiefs beat the Bengals.
He's not playing well. I guess it was a good game. There's a reason why I wasn't watching that game. And it's going to be correlated when we get to the segment, but like it was PI from what I saw on the Twitter reaction videos. It was pass interference.
Yeah, it was.
Get over it. You guys hate Mahomes.
Conspiracy theories, we get it.
Like, you guys hate... It's amazing how they hate a team that was trash for 30 years, essentially. And they're like, oh, but they're winning all the time now. I'm like, well, you know what? Your team sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your team sucks and you hate the fact that they built something because y'all...
In Kansas City of all places, too. So
yeah, in Kansas City of all places, where if it was really rigged, if I go on this...
The Cowboys would be winning.
No. If it was really rigged, Andy Reid would at least won the Super Bowls with Donovan McNabb. McNabb's not Hall of Fame. Maybe debatable. I'll have to dive into that one day. But like with that team of how it was constructed, if the NFL was really rigged for Reid and all that stuff,
oh yeah,
it would have been Philly. It would have the 5 appearances they went to the NFC Championships for once. Get the hell out of here.
The Falcons beat the Eagles.
Good time. Nick Sirianni just has no like concept of victory winning. He's cocky, man. Because why are you going to pass on 3rd and 3 for Saquon who dropped it? Just run. Do the tush push, do the run, do a play out. Like, trust that team, and then you can decide if you want to go 4th and 1. And then Kirk Cousins just be like, nah. And it was just hysterical, but I enjoyed that game.
All right, and I left the best for last, Charles.
So
your Titans.
When I told you guys last week I have
yeah,
a lot riding on this for multiple reasons. I'm watching this game. I'm seeing that first quarter. And I'm getting to that second quarter. I'm like, oh no, I feel the problems are happening. Will Levis is making some stuff that's happening.
Meme worthy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason why I do not know the Chiefs and Bengals game is I got completely obliterated in the second quarter because I had to deal with my rage. Because it's one thing at the Titans is I don't care. They're out of all my team fandoms, they're like always bad now. I have been talking shit about Aaron Rodgers for 6 years. I've had to deal with a lot of people be like, I don't know, Charles, you think he's actually not that good and all that stuff. I had to see this man steal an MVP from Derrick Henry on a 2,000 rushing yard season coupled with whatever he caught in the backfield. And to see him just get away, because I don't think he played that great. I know he didn't throw any picks, but those 2 touchdowns were just halfback wheels that Kenneth Murray could not cover for one of them. And then knowing we had an opportunity to get it back, and then because obviously Hopkins is not as healthy. Obviously, Brian Callahan is still trying to figure out how much he wants to interplay Tajay Sharp and Tony Pollard, who I'm actually liking the Pollard investment. Our defense is nasty. I'm just saying now, even though they let up 24 points, they hit Rodgers a few times. But I'm like, all right, I had rum, man. I was like, all right, I'm just going to be dealing with the pain. I got to do this. We got to do this. Rum chips, and then I had to order a pizza later night because I was so angry. And this is why this is why October is going to be. Because the thing is like, Charles, I want you guys to understand why I treat this like it was the birth of a child. The Titans are only going to get 2 games this year that's going to be portrayed on national television. It was on CBS because on Paramount as well. Why? Because the Dolphins have played Thursday Night Football. And then we get the Monday Night Football game against the Dolphins, which I will be there for. And I will not be drinking because I have to drive back home afterwards. So do not – here's the thing. You know how people say drink responsibly? If you got to be responsible, don't drink at all. That's my disclaimer right there.
Yeah. Rip
I,
Johnny
I,
Gaudreau, Matty Gaudreau.
exactly. And I'm just like me. I'm just like on a different level coming into it. But I'm so mad because I hate him, and he's going to work on this false confidence because I don't believe that Jets is a good team structured. Actually, I think Robert Sala's had too many options, and I've seen it's always the whole thing. Oh, well, we don't have the quarterback, but like everything else bad. I think hiring Nathaniel Hackett was a bad move when he had that head coach position. It was terrible. I
Yeah.
like Brees Hall. I like Garrett Wilson. I don't think signing Aaron Rodgers' boys is gonna, even though they got Alan Lazard who just got a touchdown. This is my own personal hell. And to be, if this loss, because I'm afraid, man. I'm afraid. I'm always afraid. That it's a cat instinct. That's why I grind harder. I hate that word, but in anything I do, they try to do something differently, and I push myself in because I would literally hate myself if the Super Bowl is
Oh.
won by the Jets because my team could not beat them and a seeding issue comes out. There is nothing worse. And I took that personally because
Mm.
it was humble pie that Aaron Rodgers and his ayahuasca drinking ass was giving me. Because right now I'm looking at stats. He's 14 of 60, 159 yards, one touchdown. People are like, Aaron's back. He's back. And I'm going to be like, I don't think he's actually legitimately back. I think it's just, the way the schedule sometimes works out. And of course, Alan Lazard, who got big paid money, has a touchdown. And this is my own personal. And I've been in hell, man. I've been in hell. I've been in hell
Mm.
since Sunday.
Yeah.
And then what happened was I shut that off. I'm like, I'm gonna watch something else. I'm gonna watch something else, man. I don't even remember what I watched. I think I tried to put on The Wire. I didn't watch anything else into it. I took a nice big, I'm like
Yeah.
angry, obliterated, drunk to
Yeah.
sleep. It was fantastic. And I had pizza that messed up my stomach.
Mm.
Um, the chicken wings were good though from Wingstop, so that's a shout out right there. But
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's
Yeah.
just it had to be him. Why couldn't it be some other team that my team got washed to? Like we lost 24-17. I know the growing pains are. The prediction I have for this team is 5-12. I'm okay with that. I'm fine because I lived through the back-to-back 2-14 years of Ken
Yeah.
Wisenhunt. I can
All of Jeff
survive
Fisher.
this.
Yeah.
All of Jeff Fisher. All of Jeff Fisher. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
New York Jets. I was gonna jet myself off a building. Yeet.
All right, so we're
Were you
at,
laughing at my pain? Were you laughing
I
at my
mean, I
pain
was
seeing that
just,
scoreboard?
yeah, I knew like you were, because I remember you circled it on your calendar. It's like this is it, this is the game. And they couldn't do what you wanted them to do.
I didn't want him injured. I just wanted to win.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. Oh well, we're at 147, but before we head over to the cage, I did want to do one last kind of tribute type of thing. Splatoon 3 will no longer
Yes.
be getting any new updates. It's just gonna repeat what we've had with previous like Splatfest and big runs and that type of thing. Had the grand festival this past weekend. We didn't play together, but we were on the same team. We chose Team Present, but Team Past won.
Let it be known I wanted
You
Team
want?
Pass by Livers.
Yes, yeah.
Because I knew everybody was gonna pick
But
Team
it was
Pass.
fairly even, actually. It was like almost all like a third. So it was fairly even. It's probably the most even of the Splatfest with regards to like people picking their teams.
Real
So
quick, how did the Dodgers beat y'all 20-4?
because we're the Marlins.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Talked about
Yeah.
our favorite series.
So
franchise game.
yeah. So Splatoon 3. It's been 2 years now since it released, and they ended it with the bang at the end with the grand festival. Essentially a Coachella in a
That's a perfect way of explaining it.
yeah, it was Splatoon Coachella. So it basically was that, or what are those, the Color Fest or whatever they call that. And they had all of the pop idols from all three games at the festival. They were playing songs. I legitimately played only a little bit on Saturday because I was just sitting there listening to the concert. Because then they had
It was cool, man.
it was legitimately
It was like
pretty
watching
cool.
Tomorrowland or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and with my setup with the lights and everything like that, it was fantastic. I want to get more lights now because I just have the one that kind of pertains to my screen here, and I do want to get newer lights that actually can do the whatever's on screen will change colors to. Because after watching that concert, I'm like, holy shit, 7. I really, really would like my whole setup to be like that. But just kind of man, I was just like really happy. This is legitimately like one of my favorite games, game series. It's been built upon each and every entry. The gameplay has gotten better as they move forward. They've built a community. I think that's especially large thanks to the Switch being very
And
popular.
sustainable. And
Yeah,
sustainable.
so that means like a Splatoon 4 is going to have a nice user install base. Even if like the Switch 2 starts out kind of slow, we know that it'll be a nice little community that will be fairly competitive, especially if you were there in the Wii U days, like we only like 1 million people or probably less than that had the game, yet we were pretty hardcore about it. And it's
We,
been
we literally were, man.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I mean that game, any other console, I think it would have done much more gangbusters probably. But like the fact that it flourished on the Wii U of all things, and then they really took it up a notch with 2 and 3.
I mean, it was the launch title for Switch 2 or the Switch for a reason when they did Splatoon 2 because they knew they could get that
it
easy
came out like
transition.
within like 4 months of the Switch 2 coming out, or the Switch 1,
Uh-huh.
sorry. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that we had these 2 years. I'm expecting, like, I would hope 4 would come out within, like, again, a few months of the Switch 2, which I think we're predicting somewhere like late 2025
I got
probably.
November 2025, baby.
Yeah. So or if not a launch game or something like that, but we don't know how they're going to do the Switch 2 or anything like that. But I thought it was probably one of the best ways they could end a series like that. We know that the servers will probably go down probably like a year and a half in, or probably less than that once the Switch 2 does hit.
Yeah.
So anybody who's enjoying it, enjoy it now. Enjoy it for like the next year and a half probably until we get the new one. And I think bravo to the developers who made that game, man, because that was they really nailed it. They really
Well,
nailed everything. I think for the most part, like I know you have some trepidation or like some criticism as the structure of like the actual anarchy or pro modes, which I think they
yeah.
can get better at because we're gonna get a better competitive scene going forward with this. And I mean, I just like the fact that this is probably the one video game I'm legitimately very good at as far as multiplayer
He's
is
very
concerned.
good.
Yeah,
He's very good.
I mean, you and I
I
both.
mean, yeah. I mean, I Splatoon is one of those games that gives me anxiety because how much you love it, and then what it can do to you at the nights it can steal. And um, I'm very grateful for 3 because I really hate it too.
Yeah,
And
yeah, we didn't play
2,
too much that much,
I mean, I put 80 hours into it, but that was a span of
but
like
in
4 years.
comparison to how we did the Wii U one,
Yeah, and then also in comparison to how I did this one, I mean, 2 years I've had Splatoon 3 and I put 120 10 hours. I need you guys to understand something. When 3 came out, this man and I were on work days playing until 1 or 2. I'm like, but I have to stop because it gave me that feeling of 1.
mm.
And 2 neutered the competitiveness. I still they didn't want to show the kill death ranks because I think they didn't want to hurt the kids who see how much they killed and died and everything like that. They just wanted like how many specials you were and all that stuff. And losing the ranking system wasn't like the best structure, and like Clan Blitz wasn't played well. I was like, all right, and I didn't lose love of it, but I was like, all right, we'll just do turf, call it a day, and it'll just be background music. Or like this one, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lock it. It's more fluid, it's better because the thing is, it was probably the proper Switch build than what Splatoon 2 was. And the colors are beautiful. I like the Splatfests more. I think I did more Splatfests of this than 2. One was a 5-month fever dream because I had to go study for the bar to be a lawyer, and because if I did not stop, I would not be a lawyer like I am today, celebrating my 8-year anniversary. Go figure. I should just play some Splatoon in its honor. But it is good because it is not a soulless shooter, where we had Battlefield 2042 that was a soulless shooter, which we had a lot of Call of Duties that were soulless shooters. It's a team based, so if you were playing Overwatch and Overwatch 2 mess up the whole thing, you could jump into it because they're very similar in my opinion as a team based strategy. It's a game that like one person can actually make a difference.
Yeah,
Truthfully, like rate and my thing is like it's like I'm seeing Technicolor and they're just seeing black and white sometimes when you're trying to get the Rainmaker. I would lose my hell if I had to do tower control if I don't have one of you guys with me. Would you know, a
Yeah.
couple of like the OGs as well, because
Mhm.
tower control is still the hardest one.
Yeah.
Because it requires so much like coordination, and Nintendo doesn't have the voice chat, and I understand that we don't want to offend the children, but like when I'm like, I keep dying because you're not on it long enough, I need you to preserve it. I still feel that rush when we're able to achieve it. It's a game where this is actually a non-sponsor. We're just gonna non-sponsor this in general. It's a game where like the final 10 seconds can matter so much.
Yeah.
Whether it be splat zones, clan blitz, not so much. You know what's gonna happen in clan blitz, but turf war, Rainmaker, buddy,
Yeah.
especially in that overtime where it's no longer just deliver Rainmaker, just get past that additional point.
Yep.
The weaponry is good. I'm petty. I want them. We never got to X, but I don't want to get to X ranking. You know what I mean? That is going to take so much of my soul away from the single player games. And the reason why I had to cut out those kind of like multis is because, I have to go for the backlog. When we get to 4, and I have theories on what they're going to do with 4, it's going to be a futuristic thing. You're going to get different setups. You're going to get the whole tech heavy stuff. I know you
Yeah.
would probably hate this. I want to be able to make my own build on the weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. You're on loadout. Yeah.
Yeah, if I have my arrow spray, I want to be able to do an arrow spray with a
At the
suction
very
bomb,
least, give us
and my
like
own special.
yeah, or give us like a pro level type of league thing,
Yeah,
where you can like an advanced player option, right? Like okay,
yeah.
you've played 1 through 3. You want to play on this much more highly competitive area of the game. You don't have to play it. They could have like a different tier under that people could play, but yeah, where you can mix and match your loadouts and
I would
like
absolutely
I
love it.
think the
And
only reason they don't do that because Nintendo, they will
yeah,
do certain things
it's
just to try and prevent any imbalance whatsoever because
well, but
people exploit certain
yeah, but
things.
the thing is, you're not exploiting on the loadout.
Yeah.
So you're good. It really puts more incentivization for keeping and staying fresh,
Mm.
of getting the right clothing to match your play style.
Yeah.
That's the next level stuff that
Mm.
I want. Because look, I do agree. Like Andrew, who he's too hard on himself, guys, when it comes to gaming. He would absolutely hate the first one if we were doing competitive rank. He would absolutely hate attaining a B or an A or an S rank in one night, and then next night when you go to play, 1 hour, an hour and a half, of just consecutive losses cause you to lose not a half a rank, but an entire ranking. I
Mm-hmm.
remember one night I went from being like an A plus
Did,
to going to a C plus because my team based things
mm-hmm.
were off. I'm glad that they got rid of it in 3 by just doing new seasons, and I guess that makes sense. Fine and smart
Yeah.
for you and I who actually had to work it. And the spoils of victory and the problems of loss, whatever the phrase is. I don't have it in my
Yeah.
mind right now. But it is one of those things. To know taste victory and defeat. That was the game's definition. And as a man, I guess, forgive me for sex for a second, spreading my ink everywhere. I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me.
Mm.
100% makes sense. I get it. I think that's why I just intuitive it. It is my favorite Nintendo IP that I've had in 15 years, right? Because remember, we're just gonna give this very long love for this game because Francis can put like triple the amount that I put in for me as a practicing lawyer. Put 110 hours, and if I just got 20 minutes to kill, I'm just gonna play that. But like, I had my NES, Super NES, I had my 64. Skipped the game. I had a GameCube, but I only had like a couple games. So you're 15, and you're poor, so it's like I can't do much. But I didn't play certain games on there. And then I went to the Wii, so I have a lot of games I stock up on. And there's your usual stuff that you love, and that's why I'm excited to get to like Metroid Prime Remastered to really reappreciate it. 21 years later,
Hopefully we get
20
4.
years later, yeah, right, 20 years later. But like, I think it's been my favorite natural IP that came when I was an adult. Because the thing is, you got me suckered, man.
Mm.
You got me suckered regardless. Anything that's a Mario gets all my money. Anything that's like Zelda, since like Wind Waker gets my money because Zelda was hard for me as a kid. So of course I never played Ocarina and then Majora's and all that stuff. I was like 8 when it came out. My parents don't game like that, and then we're gonna pay for the $15 or the $5 Nintendo Power magazine with the cheat codes, stuff like that. And then I love Star Fox. They came in 64 with it, and then they just stopped, right?
Yeah.
But then we get this, especially, and I have a lot of feelings towards it. Not to get personal, but this is reflective on being a lawyer for 8 years. Is that law school was not easy for me. It put me in a very rough spot, and gaming, like everything, like this show, like sports, like wrestling, like food, is a positive outlet where that big old heavy crown on your head that permeates and gets into your body, crushes your neck, and just feels like a weight on your chest. It can like alleviate it. It can remove that anvil. It can remove the thorny brushes that's cutting you up a little bit. And I just remember because I got it on a Black Friday deal, $30, man, because your boy was really poor in law school. We all
Mm.
were because we're living on loans, and it was saying something. If you're gonna devote $30 to a game that you just watched on YouTube, say, hey, I'm gonna try it, and I put in 120 something hours under 30. I made a great friendship with you. My other buddy had got it. He got three too, but Tony won't jump on him like fucker. Like get on this 19. Um, but like getting into it, knowing that I had to step back from it because it was either me or the bar, and I would have let it for a second, even on me distressing, and then it was just there in time. But it was the most positive thing. So that's why to me it's like one of my favorite IPs, even though I don't know the lore as much because I don't play the story. I'm like, nah, I don't need to. Yeah, I know what I'm here for. But
Yeah, yeah.
you have an attachment to it. It's
Yeah, man, I
it's
bought the store, I
beautiful.
bought all the DLC. Like, yeah, I went through it all. Yeah, yeah,
But it beautiful.
yeah.
Just like it's art, it's beautiful.
Okay, we're at 2 hours, so and we started late, so let's finish this off with the cage, Charles.
And I can make it short. Welcome, everybody, to your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Remember, wrestling is not fake. It's scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. It's poetry in motion. It's men and women beating the holy hell out of each other, mostly for my entertainment. It's, just establishing legacies, chasing championships, making a buck. And, life's pretty good in wrestling. I know I said I was going to catch you up to things. It's a late show, so that means I get an auto pass to next week to talk about past the state of affairs. So I'm still catching up. I'm still doing some things, but some things I can tell you that broke the last couple of days was one. We already know last week SmackDown went from being on Fox to USA, so I actually got to watch some Friday Night SmackDown. I went to
Aha.
Ocean's Republic Brewery. I had a burger, like one beer. The beer's not that great, but like this burger was actually solid. I forgot the kind of, it was like a bacon jam burger, because everything has like the same name, just different ingredients, but it was actually quite tasty. And then I went home and I watched like the back hour of it, and I was like, yeah, this is fine. NXT is going on CW next month, so I don't think I have CW, but I'm sure I don't watch NXT religiously anymore like I used to, but I'll keep the highlights on the Twitter. I watch so I didn't watch Raw. I chose to play video games, which was fine this week. I did watch some AEW, and there's some storylines coming into it. And I'm not going to go into storylines for the time. I'm hungry. You're hungry. We're going to play around for a little bit, but I'm satisfied. I gave you guys the state of affairs, state of updates. But I think like this is what came out and dropped out. A couple things for the AEW and WWE side. AEW is shopping. They're still working on trying to get their licensing and their big Warner Brother Discovery contract that comes out. The rumor mill is because remember AEW technically has 3 wrestling shows that are broadcast on TBS and TNT. So it's AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision that's on Saturdays, and AEW Rampage. Not counting Ring of Honor. That's just using Honor Club, which is just basically a paywall. So the rumor mill is that Rampage is ceasing to exist, and they trademark for something called AEW Shockwave,
Mm.
which AEW allegedly is trying to sell off to Fox or FS1, which is hysterical to me because Fox already put this bigger amount of money into WWE SmackDown for the last 5 years and didn't see the fruits that they were seeking, right? The results. But it makes me think that if AEW is trying to get on a bigger appeal on FS1 or onto just Fox in general, they're probably getting lower money on that. But hey, if you're a whole brand and you can license out just a show without doing your entire thing, because that was the problem with WWE for a bit. They had everything on USA. It was Raw, it was NXT, and it was SmackDown. This is about 7 years ago. And so like you're getting the shows, sure, but you're not being able to create a self-placed bidding war. It's like who wants to take Francisco the prom, right? Like that's the mentality. If everybody was lining up, then you gotta
So
pick it out.
I'm looking at. I'm just putting this on the screen here.
Yeah.
Basically, one source indicated this past week that AEW would not be continued, and that AEW's new third show, likely called Shockwave, and would be the show being shopped around to Fox and likely others. John Oren noted that AEW is pitching another package, primarily to broadcast channels that would mean networks which would be ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Telemundo, Univision, CW, or Ion.
Well, Univision is not a bad idea because, Latinos, I guess if I can say that, do love their wrestling when it's not CMLL or AAA and everything else. So,
I mean, I've never really seen them on any of those channels unless yeah.
I think they're on like a different, but like, listen, in the very limited capacity of me ever watching Telemundo or Univision was for the soap operas. It was for the telenovelas.
I mean,
the
wrestling
weird,
is like a soap opera.
Wrestling is soap opera. You hear me say it often. So you never know. It's about access, right? And they want that. So if they get this, fine. Because here's the thing: like this tribalism that's on the Twitter and everything else, I think it's artificial. I think it's fake. I think people actually don't care. But you want to see companies grow and develop because competition breeds excellence, unlike what they tell you in the typical American capitalist society. But when it comes to wrestling and basically it's like movies and stuff and shows and characters and merchandise that you're selling, you want to build into it so it makes sure we don't slide. Because I've been through the dark days of when I stopped watching wrestling because Vince McMahon had no competition or no creativity. But he's gone. So Hunter's been doing fine. Not the greatest things in sliced bread. But you know what? He's kind of a half a bagel, so I'll take it. You eat it for breakfast, right? And there's times where I like what Tony Khan's doing. There's times where I'm like, why? And I think he's going to suffer the same thing that kind of Vince suffered a little bit, which is having an overly bloated roster and not having to partition team time. And I did this when I think I first started talking about the cage. To me, if I was a wrestler, the most important thing isn't like championships and stuff like that. Sure, I guess if it means something, but it's kind of staged and scripted, right? Unless it's such a last minute thing or take an injury. It's about television time, right? That's really where you're getting your brand out and exposure. As opposed, like YouTube and social media clips help out, but imagine being on TNT, CBS, well-known stations, USA, well-known station, Fox, right? And you get 10 minutes matches per week. You get a 2-minute promo to talk about it. It's an identifier, right? It feels like a modeling freelance agency. When does this guy or gal kind of strike you as, oh, hey, I got to talk to you? If you're at the bar and you're hoping you're not last call with somebody you shouldn't be around with, but you want to see somebody of interest, and you go, hi, how you doing? Can I buy you some nachos? Never buy anybody's drinks. That's weird. Everybody's going to buy something to drink. No one's going to buy anybody nachos. I'm going to impart that wisdom to my nephew when he's 21, because you know what? We're always hungry. I'm always hungry. So that's the logic I would kind of build it. But I think it could be of interest. You want them to thrive. And I've enjoyed snippets. But here's the thing. I don't love everything in totality that WWE does. You definitely know this. I don't love everything that AEW does. So I just kind of I just piecemeal it a little bit. And then I'm happy. But that's one of the things they're doing the deal. And then going to WWE's deal, which could be a problem, but could also be a benefit. Because we can talk about bloated rosters and you need time. So right now, Raw, starting in like October, it's not going to be 3 hours anymore in USA. It's only going to become 2 hours, which is concerning if there's too much like commercials, because then I'm really like, if I'm just getting an hour of commercials, right? When you think about it. But the reason why it's just shortening a little bit, because when it goes to Netflix, it's going to go back to 3 hours, which commercials, but Netflix can tailor their own commercials. Charles, what do you mean Netflix can get commercials? They want your money, guys. But they realize that you guys don't want to pay, so you pirate or you steal stuff. So they realize the Quaker oatmeal, is going to pay them whatever. The Valvoline, oil change, the Velveeta cheese, Head and Shoulders, the deodorant people, because use a bar of soap, right? They're going to put advertisements, so that's how, Netflix can get that supplemental revenue. Probably the same thing when they do Netflix games to a degree. So it's a big conglomerate, essentially. So, yeah, and I don't hate commercials because we grew up in the 90s. So, like, to me, commercials was like, I got to go bathroom break. And that's it. And what are you guys were doing anyway during commercials, like when you don't have Netflix, you just put it on pause and you go to the restroom. Wrestling is, I hate actually picture in picture in wrestling,
Hmm.
because it minimizes the screen. So really, I just rather you give me the commercial. But I think Netflix will stagger it, but they don't go back to 3 hours. And then SmackDown, which is already starting, you want to say this, a 2 hour show. They say starting January, it's going to convert into a 3 hour show, which I think is a benefit because right now they have a very loaded roster. So that's how you keep people healthy and happy. And I do think that TKO, which is the UFC people, have an idea that they could probably market more money on a 3 hour show, multiple 3 hour shows, because NXT is only going to be 2 hours on CW. But they can market more money because the thing is, TKO, they don't have a weekly show, right? I don't know if they still do the Ultimate Fighter. Maybe that's a TKO subsidiary to do from there. So this is probably just bringing them additional finances. And then what they're saying that they're going to do, and I think this is really important, it sucks for the fans who likes the house shows, which is great because it's a good experience, even though it's not television, is that they're going to reduce for the moment the amount of house shows. And house shows are the shows that happen in between the
Hmm.
live televised. It's good to kind of get the feelers, but it's going to give the wrestlers breaks, but it also probably prevent injuries because you know what happens in wrestling? It is physical.
Hmm.
It has a combat component. People can break their necks, sprain their shoulders, blow out their ACLs, tear their Achilles, get the stingers, and then they're out for a long time. And then it's like, who do you have? Because if you think about it as a play in a soap opera, who's your understudy? And what happens when your understudy gets hurt as well? And the last thing you kind of want to do, really, when you think about it, is make these wrestlers work through all these injuries and just burden even more so, and then it gets worse. That is, I think of me for positive because at 35, who's not like 10 years old, jumping around up and down. I want the wrestlers to take a break, but also I do believe that if I get one particular wrestler for 365 days, unless they're one of those wrestlers who should always be on my television. Case in point, like Ricochet, who was a guy who should always be on my television on WB, who's now in AEW. There were some people who left and went jump shipped, and maybe I'll talk about that more in the next show. But
Hmm.
when you have like that soul selection, that's why AJ Styles should technically be on my TV every day because he's going to retire eventually. But for other ones, like I don't need like Seth Rollins being gone right now is perfect for me. You got a little bit of fatigue when he was World Heavyweight Champion. Roman came back, and the thing is, Roman was already kind of doing the part-time stuff anyway. It just sucked when he had the title, but if you're gonna make him like the big deal, whatever, that's fine. Brock Lesnar was another one. Whenever Brock didn't have a title, then that's another thing. And then there, you just get them revitalized. You can do characters they could heal up. And in wrestling, I do think absence makes the heart grow fonder. Hey, like, but Charles, where's your evidence of this? Anytime a person returns from injury, you hear the loud pop, or the Royal
Hmm.
Rumble when a wrestler's been gone for a bit, and you hear him, and you go, "Oh my God, give it all the crap!" I was one of those people, coming
Yeah.
up like, "Oh, look at this." So it has its benefits. We'll talk more in depth on it into the show because Bad Blood is coming up, and I do have to really go deep into Bad Blood because I have to catch you up on like 4 months of the story for some of these things. Uh, yeah, like really a year for another one. But me, I'm pretty good at like breaking it down and going from there. AEW is gonna get love for like the one person who thinks I have contribution to AEW. It will get its love. Wrestle Dreams come up soon. Grand Slams next week. I think I'll devote my time and energy Grand Slam because I am interested. And a couple of stories that are coming from it. Good luck if you like New Japan. I have been way off the radar.
Hmm.
I know Naito won back that title from Moxley and from Brandon, and I was absolutely against it to begin with for other stuff. And it's just like it's just right now. Zack Sabre won the New Japan Cup, which I think the G1 Climax, and I think that's what I predicted in the chats when we're on off season. But we'll see, right? And then TNA, they're doing the bridge from NXT, so it makes my life easy. I don't really know what's going on fully with Ring of Honor because it's just seamlessly migrating into AEW. But the point that I always tell people is that you support the worker, not the company. Because there's plenty of people who have been in one company, couldn't get a chance, and then went over to another one, had the opportunity, and you're able to build it. I'm going to give you an example now. MXM Dion Madden was his original name. I think he's called Mace now because he was Mace when he was Richard Mace. Mace Mase, and then Mansoor was Mansoor.
Monsoir.
Mansoor. I loved them when they were in WWE when they were teamed to do like the little fashion stuff that was going on with M&M Productions. I said some stuff, and then they got canned. They went to AEW Ring of Honor, and they're doing the like let's touch tips on this, very kind of like effeminate male model energy. And wrestling is simple when the characters are simple. You need some depth to certain things, but you can find in there. But I have absolutely enjoyed what they're going on, and then it's just the good deadpan humor. Wrestling can be dramatic, wrestling can be funny, wrestling can be combat, and those are the example of guys who go and bail out. Like Ricochet is going over to AEW now. I don't know what his ceiling is, but that is a man whose talent should always be on my television to broadcast. He has amazing matches given a chance, and AEW is a very much wrestling based, like let give you bell to bell entertainment in the ring outside the story. Not that you don't get it outside of the story. And one day I'll really talk to you guys on my theory with storytelling is because the internet throws that shit around 20. We'll make it a fair 20 too much where they say, oh, there's no storytelling in AEW. I'm like, there's storytelling in the ring of the match itself. And what culminated into it, there's storytelling going to promos week in and week out leading into the match, and some of this is a joint story. So I think that's kind of silly because there's the way I view it is more categorizations. There is a serial storyline, there is a what if episode storyline, and there's just like, oh, here's a story that we're gonna do that doesn't have any impact on the overall series. We've seen those. I've watched Lost. That's literally 3 things I just told you about in one particular show, and Lost is not good. Can we just say I'm kind of glad that we don't have to do 24 episodes per season, 1-hour shows, and I only watched like the first season, 2 seasons to get into it, and it became one of those shows like I stopped watching, but I'm gonna see what's always going on Twitter kind of energy, even though it was on the Twitter. But I think the current show now is like The Boys. The Boys is just not good, man. I'm trying. I've watched the first 2 seasons. I just don't care. But there I was watching some in season 4.
Yeah, well, I stopped watching The Boys.
It has substance.
It does, but it's dragging too long for me, man.
Yeah, but those are shows like that. And wrestling, because wrestling is not on the indies, but wrestling on the broadcasted shows are an entertainment value. So it's like, how do we kind of pad in that hour? So, right, you don't have meandering shots, but you have to kind of fill it in. So if you fill it in bell to bell with wrestling, or if you fill it in from hour to hour on like little promos of some light wrestling, because your belief is you can build that up into the pay-per-view, which is just basically your Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the example I use because they split it because they can fill on there, so they give you the final movie to be like, oh, it's not the climax and everything. View it however you want. I don't really care. But that's the little small state of it because I did take good time onto it, but the other stuff would take longer. So that's all I'm going to give you this week on The Cage, guys.
All right. Okay, so I think we're done here. It's 2 hours, 60 minutes.
Done.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Planning a trip to Israel? Choose the airline that keeps on flying. Book early on ElAl.com to reserve your seat and get great fares. Miami nonstop flights to Israel round trip from $1,099. Fort Lauderdale nonstop flights to Israel round trip from $1,099. Book with confidence. Add ElAl Protect at booking for flexibility in your travel plans. Book early. Save more. Fly the flag. Book on ElAl.com today. ElAl, it's more than an airline.